All right, we're live.
We're live.
We're live. Alrighty. Thank you everybody for tuning in for the Tasmanian Whisky Week at Home virtual tasting. We've got quite a few people on. We've got a few drams to work through as well. For those that don't know me, my name is John from Hobart Whisky. And beside me I have Mr. Mark Teague from Whisky is My Jam. Basically tonight we're going to have a bit of a format where we'll move through the drams. We'll have a chat to the producers. Pop any questions into the chat. We'll try and cover everything we need to. It's all relatively straightforward, I believe.
Yeah.
We do have a run order, which is available on the app or the web version of the app. We'll also put them up as we are moving through the dram so you can keep up. Alrighty, well, come up to the stage. Number one, pull up a chair. We're having a chat. First up, we have Karen and Shane from Tasmanian Whisky Selectors. What are we drinking?
Okay, so we've brought along an Adams Distillery spirit tonight. We're an independent bottler, so we bought some spirit from Adams Distillery about 5 years ago now, but this one was in the barrel for 3.5 years. It was near a really warm wall, so it aged quite quickly. It's out of a tawny cask, 100-litre tawny cask. You've got your little ones there.
Yeah,
pour one for you.
Yeah, oh no, that's right, thank you. You should pour yourself one though if you.
I think we should.
Absolutely.
And this is Shane, by the way. Did we introduce him?
I did the intro. That's all right.
That's all right.
That's all right. You're first up, so it's all right to be just a little bit,
A bit nervous.
A little bit nervous. Do you do stuff like this often?
No.
No, okay.
No, so
exciting times.
It is, yeah. So started off as an independent bottler, but now we're becoming a distillery, so that's why we're wearing the Bogan Road Distillery top as well. So we sell gin and whiskey, but our whiskey from Bogan Road will take a little while because, of course, we've only just recently got our new big still, and so that's going to take a few years to age. But in the meantime, we've got other barrels coming due. We're trying to do single cask bottlings mostly.
All right, perfect. So, I feel like you're reading my mind. I was about to ask how far off the Bogan Road whiskey was, but you're way too ahead for me.
Probably 4 or 5 years, I'd say. Yeah.
All righty, so Adams Distillery Spirit, 46.8%, tawny cask.
Yep.
Tell us more about it. Give us some tasting notes. How big was the cask? You might have said that, but
100-litre. Lovely burnt umber colour. I quite like it. It's quite distinctively Adams, but it's got a bit of what would you say? It's a sort of like a caramelised currant sort of finish to it. You sort of get a bit of caramel on the beginning, butterscotch and things, and then it finishes with a bit of chili chocolate. It's different, but it's quite popular, this one.
And so this is AD 92. Does that mean it's your 92nd cask? Or?
No, it means it was their 92nd cask.
Their 92nd cask, okay.
So that was filled from their earlier stills. They now have bigger stills and have grown quite a lot. They were relatively small when we started, as were a lot of the distilleries that we bought new make spirit from. Because we were trying to support them in their early days when they're not getting a lot of cash flow. So
how many distilleries do you have spirit of now?
8.
8.
Yeah. 9 if you count one other, which we won't mention.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Can you mention the 8?
Yes, I can try. You threw that at one,
no?
Me. So we've got some from McHenry's, the old Redlands, which is now old Kempton. Spring Bay, Launceston, Adams,
Coralline.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So a few that are a bit, unusual that other people might.
No Hobart whiskey.
No, we haven't got Hobart. Sorry.
Disappointing. Yeah.
That guy doesn't give his casks or anything.
No, that's fair.
That's right.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah. It's very sweet on the nose. Probably a little bit sweeter than I expected for Adams Distillate.
Yeah. And probably for a first one to try, it's not always the one I get people to try first, because of that. It's one that people who like a sweeter whiskey prefer.
Yep.
It's also got a tiny bit of smokiness, which some people even say to me, is it peated? But it's not. It's just that they use a quarter of their mash bill is a smoked barley or smoked barley from Belgium.
Yeah, okay.
Or at that time it was.
Yep.
So yeah, it's got that smokiness from that. So it's interesting because we had a lot of tawny casks from South Australia and they were all from the same place. But depending on the new make we've stuck in them, it was quite different what the outcome has been. And the Adams ones have that smokiness that, it's quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm not getting too many questions through online. Is there any questions? We do have a bit of an entourage here tonight. So any questions over the back? Has everyone tried it, or is everyone trying it? Not a lot of raised hands here. I think everybody's a bit quiet.
Yeah, I get quite savoury notes out of it when I first in my head.
Yep.
Yeah.
Savoury notes from Mr. Bigman.
Yeah.
So, Karen, you've travelled down from the north, obviously, to the south. Are there any other events during Tas Whisky Week you're participating in?
Yep, so we're at Communion Brewing in Burnie, and then we'll be at Tandy Ale House in Launceston.
So you're in Launceston on Tuesday for Tandy's Comedy Night.
That's
tickets
correct.
still available for that. And then you're up to Burnie for Communion, and there's tickets still available for that.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, and then we'll be down here for the rest of the week, and there's quite a few events down here as well. To Sorrows on the Friday night.
Yeah.
I think there's still some tickets
There's tickets available for the dinner there, yep.
and then the Spirit Showcase and the Farmgate Market as well.
Yeah, wow. It's a busy week.
It is.
But I mean, it's the best week of the year, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we really enjoy it, yeah. So it's not our first one.
Yeah. Not the last one either, I
No,
don't
that's
imagine. Alrighty, what are you thinking? Yeah. Pop any questions you might have into the chat on Facebook or YouTube where we're going live. Thank you guys for coming along. You've got this out of the way now, so you can just sit back and relax and laugh at all these other fools as they step up. So, I mean, laugh at the fools. Sorry, not other fools. You can't fools, right? Alrighty.
We'll move on.
First one down.
Thanks, Sean.
Leave these here.
No, you can take them with you. Thank you. Alrighty. Up next, we have one Mr. Dean Jackson. Do you bring a whiskey? Yeah. All right.
You got a whiskey?
I will find a whiskey. That's all right.
Receding. Yes.
See, it's not going to take long for these guys to warm up, is it? I'm not sure if it's a good or a bad thing.
I don't know why we invited them.
Yeah. Alrighty, how you doing?
Good. Yeah.
Big day, yeah?
Yeah, flat out.
Yeah?
Yep, from one distillery to another.
Yeah, perfect. That's the way it should be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then what's planned after this?
More whiskey.
More whiskey. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, I mean, you're sort of a bit known in the industry, I guess. This is Mr. Dean Jackson from Bay Distillery. What's your title? Like, what do you do there?
What do I do at Spring Bay?
Well, yeah.
Pretty much everything.
Right, okay. So,
I'm distillery manager. So from running production through to teaching new staff to, everything, logistics, you name it.
Yeah, perfect.
Keep that place running.
Yeah, well, that's a bit of a cop-out answer because you're just sort of describing everything, right? So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I said I did everything.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
What are you doing, mate?
You've got your sassy pants on today, I see. So good to hear. Alrighty. So what do we have here?
Okay. So our lovely limited for Tas Whisky Week is a Pedro Jimenez, so an actual Spanish sherry, not a Perra, and this was a combination of 6 30-litre casks.
6 30-litre PX casks.
PX casks.
Vatted together. Cut to
48.
48%.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know the origin of the Pedro casks, or is that
that Tas Cask company?
Can you make it up like for the masses?
It was a bodega in Spain.
Perfect. I like it. Yeah. Okay. Age and maturation. So
age is
not that we talk about age a lot.
No, not really. I mean, some of them were a couple of months apart, so we're looking at just an average age of around about, say, 3.5 years. So nothing too over the done, but just that sort of lovely fruit profile, some sweet notes, a lovely little oak drive in the back. So yeah, just a nice easy drinking dram. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Still available on the website?
Yeah, we have only just launched it on the website. So if you want to sign up and that sort of stuff, you get all that sort of stuff coming to you. We've got the PX for the showcase, and we've also got a sneaky little extra dram that we pulled out at the last minute. So
what is it?
Oh, do I dare? It's a triple wood.
You whisper it if you don't want to tell everybody.
No, it's a triple wood. So, but instead of 3 maturations, it's all 3 different oaks and influences in the one cask.
So staves together.
Yeah. Yep.
What oak?
Cabernet, American oak,
Yep.
Shiraz, French oak, and Tawny French oak.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And that will be available this week as well.
This week as well.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely. So it's online. Get busy.
This to me, it's sort of got a lot more like I can't think of the word. Like it's like a savoury nuttiness going on.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Is that normal? Or am I?
Yeah. No. Absolutely. I mean,
Is there a wrong answer?
Not really. It's your whiskey in your glass, isn't it? Yeah. No, I definitely pick a sort of a walnutty profile.
Yeah.
Along with a lovely sort of syrupy, brown sugary caramel profile.
Sort of like a bit of popcorn as well.
Yeah, cool.
But I don't know why.
Popcorn? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. Popcorn's fun.
Yeah.
Buttery or salty or...
Probably like a savoury popcorn.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, you can tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I'm going to eject you off the back of this wall.
So why would I do No, nobody's wrong. It's whatever you get out of the whiskey. Look, we've got some lovely base tones in there. There's the candied peel, the cherry notes, the cocoa, the leather, those sorts of tones that you get out of rich sherry tones. But yeah, popcorn, why not? If anybody else has got some weird and wonderfuls, have a go. Remember, it's your whiskey.
Well, it's your whiskey.
It's my whiskey too. It's your whiskey.
Okay. Right.
It's
everybody's whiskey.
Everybody's whiskey.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that mean I can have some?
No.
Oh. Any thoughts?
Yeah, no. So, Dean,
Yeah, mate.
PX and labelling that as such on the Spring Bay is fairly unusual. We don't normally name up like that.
No, we the Pedro Jimenez were a series of casks that we got out of the cooperage, and we did them as a sort of. We first nosed them, thought they were amazing, thought we'd put in a bit of a trial program, and then we've refilled them, so they've gone back for second fills. We've used actually a couple of them in a different sherry expression that's already been released and gone, so we've actually used some of it for marrying with different profiles. So once we know a certain program works, we'll then implement them in large format and do that. So we've now got some 225s and 300 litre, both Oloroso and Spanish PX, so Spanish Oloroso. So we know they work, so we're going to upscale.
It's quite hard to get wood of that origin quality as well. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Pretty exciting times to go. Larger cask, longer maturation.
Longer maturation, richer, bolder, rounder. Yeah, it's going to be good. Yeah.
Excellent.
So you're obviously doing the showcase this weekend with your 2 expressions next weekend that will be available.
Absolutely.
What else is Spring Bay if you're in it over Coast Whisky Week?
Okay, so we've got the Evolve event on Monday night with Overeem. So we've got 3 whiskies there, plus Overeem's got 3 whiskies, or is it 4 and 4?
These are probably things you should know.
Yeah, look, I've dropped the stock off. That's the main
Perfect.
thing.
Okay.
I think it's 3 and 3.
3 and 3.
I believe it's 3.
There we go. What else? We've also got storytelling night. We've got the Boilermaker night at Gold Bar
On Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's sold out now.
That's sold out. Fantastic. I think Evolve's almost sold out. I think we've got like 2 or 3 tickets left. So that's really good. That's Monday. And then we've got storytelling. We're also at the Yacht Club on Wednesday night.
On Friday night for Meet the Maker?
Yeah, I
Meet the
believe
Maker,
it's Friday.
yeah, Friday.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
You've had a long day. I
It's
assume,
been a
so-
long day.
Nearly all events you're at are sold out then.
Yeah, so we're just at, I think there's 2 or 3 events down here that we're not at. So we've got full spread. We've got our business development manager Dan. He'll be doing doing an event. He'll be at the showcase with Susie, one of the founders and directors of Spring Bay. We've got Cam at the storytelling night and the Boilermaker night, so we can tell the story of Spring Bay. We've got our new apprentice Taz, who's a great storyteller in his own. So he'll be doing the yacht club with Cam. Yeah, we're basically the whole crew's going to be out and about. So come and say
Big
hi.
week.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, sir.
I think your time's up,
All right.
so please remove yourself from the stage.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
All righty. Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, so up next we have Richard and Claire.
We do.
Are they ready to go?
No, they're just getting ready now by the looks of it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're all good. Claire just had to do a quick still test because we're on deck tonight.
Yeah, right. Are you telling me that's not a green screen and you are actually at the distillery?
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you prove it? Can you go and touch the still?
No, it's too hot.
Okay, all right. Okay, see, that was a test.
We have to polish them, so no thank you.
Not allowed to touch the stills. There are rules.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. How are you going?
Pardon?
How are you going?
Mate, I'm on top of the world.
so good.
Yeah, so I guess we're here to talk about our musket cask tonight. But before we do that, for those on the stream that haven't heard of Overeem, we're located in Huntingfield now, about 20 minutes south of Hobart. And how it all kicked off, sort of around 2000 and what have we got? 2007. Casey turned the stills on in his front yard, built a shed, slapped 2 stills in it. That's 15 years ago now. The business is now run by his daughter Jane and husband Mark. And it's a really small team still. There's only 5 of us. So you've got Claire, myself, we've got Nikki, the other distiller, and Mark and Jane are upstairs running the show. So we only really work with 100-litre casks for the most part, except for the whiskey that we're going to try later tonight. And we're predominantly known for port and sherry casks. And again, a little bit of point of difference with the whiskey that we're going to get into tonight as well. We age our whiskies as well in a bunker, which is a little bit different. So the temperature fluctuations are vastly different to most distilleries here in Tassie. You can see you're located in a tin shed. You're going to get some hot days and some cold nights. Totally different to what we expect here at Overeem. But yeah, we'll get into the whiskey that we're going to talk about tonight. And Claire, if you want to take over.
Yeah. So the musket cask is a limited release that we've just released probably about a month and a half ago. And so it's a bit of an unusual whiskey for us in that normally our whiskies are just single cask releases. So we just decant the barrel, bottle that, and then there's no blending of casks together. This one is a bit unusual because we got our hands on an awesome 500-litre ex-musket cask from the Langmore Winery in the Barossa. And back in 2018, we decanted about 5 100-litre casks that had already reached maturation. So they were about 5 or 6 years old. And we decanted those into the 500-litre musket cask. And they were a blend of port and sherry casks. And then that spent another 3.5 years in the huge musket cask. So the average age of this whiskey we got tonight is between like 8 or 9 years old. Yeah.
We did a really interesting thing as well with this one. So we're sitting at 48.5%. Overeem's never really worked with musket before, so we didn't know as to how it would react with the spirit. So we tried it at cask strength, tried it all the way down to 43%, our distiller's strength, and got the whole team involved and just sort of honed in on that certain area where we thought the spirit best represents itself. And we honed in from 47 to 51 and kept doing this until we sat on 48.5. So quite unique, this release.
Yeah, perfect. No, so it's actually, I shouldn't say actually really good, but
There we go.
I hate the word actually. I just no, so fruity. I've always been, really partial to the Overeem spirit and just the style at which it's done. Like relying on single cask typically is, it's difficult, right? Like you've just got to have such a good wood management plan. You've got to make sure what you're putting in. So yeah, it's really interesting. Any thoughts, Mark?
No, I really like it. I mean, always a big fan of Overeem's releases and love what Richard and Claire have been adding to the team since they've joined. Yep. So yeah, always excited, especially when Richard manages to convince convinced Mark and Jane to release some cask strength stuff. As on a bit of a cask strength theme, but it's really, really tasty.
So I think
it's great. It just needs a touch of water. So
just a splash. So how many bottles are in this release? I think you said plural casks, like multiple musket casks.
Yeah.
So,
no, just the one musket cask.
Yep.
In fact, it's just over my shoulder, so that 500 litre cask there. What do we get? Sort of
just
about 800 bottles in the end.
Yeah, right. Wow. And you still have some available?
Yes, we're about 3/4 of the way through the stock.
Yep.
But yeah, there's still some. So jump online if you love it.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got quite a few people at home watching along that will be trying it, and so no doubt you'll see a few orders come through for that.
What do you guys think? You've obviously got a few crew there. What notes are you guys picking out?
It's a lot more like deep fruit notes than I expected.
Yeah, it does give off flavours that are more associated with cherry cask, I would say, than typically musket.
Yeah.
We found this really interesting, right? So on the nose, we found the sherry and port have more of the say, and the musket really only comes in about the sort of first portion to halfway through the back of the palate, and then the more traditional overing notes come through towards the back. So the influence from the musket is quite unique.
And I guess that's because it was such a big cask, a 500 litre cask. Look, it's a large amount of volume, so not a lot of wood to spirit ratio. So the musket influence is a little bit more saddled from a lot of the other musket casks that I've tried, where the sweetness from the musket is a little bit more of and maybe it's like a little bit more of that syrupy sweetness.
Yeah, it's a big whiskey as well, even at 48%. Like, it's so full bodied, just really, really nice.
The mouthfeel is really, a lot more bolder than what a 48.5% would offer. 100%.
Right. I mean, I would have loved to have tried it at 60, but maybe next time.
I'll get a few samples.
Come on over, John. We've got things for you.
Anyone in the background? Any thoughts? We've got a bit of a crew here tonight, so has anyone tried it? Does anyone not like it? Oh, look at all them hands go up. No, I'm joking.
So you're both out and about a bit more this week for Tas Whisky Week. Can you regale us with what other events Overeem will be appearing at for the rest of the week?
Yeah, as Dean touched on, we've got the Evolve event on Monday nights. We've got the cruise ship night that's just us. We're out on the Mystique, which is the beautiful cruise ship that's parked just outside of T42. You might have come across before, but we're sending out on that. We've got the Spirit Showcase on Saturday. Is there anything else that I've missed?
That's all,
I think that's all of them. I think that's it.
And this, of course, the highlight.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's a shame you couldn't join us here today, but somebody's got to do the work down there, right? So
that's it.
Yeah, somebody's.
Alrighty.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to stick around and watch this train wreck as it unfolds.
Can't wait.
But yeah, no, that's really impressive. Thank you for coming on, and
thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Cheers.
All right. How are we doing for time?
Yeah, we're good for time.
We're good for time. Excellent. Next up, wow, here we go. Looks impressive.
We've got Damasco, Ned Kelpie.
Yep.
Got to introduce him to everybody. And of course, we've got some beautiful, wonderful whiskey.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. So thank you guys there at home. Here we have Heidi from King Island Distillery. Is this your first time on a virtual event as well?
It is.
Right. So it must be like absolutely thrilling. I can just tell you're radiating excitement to be here with us. So
Yes, well,
thank you for coming along.
I've got the whiskey glow, I think.
Yeah.
What else we get?
We're all going to have the whiskey glow within about an hour and a half, I imagine.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
So are you going to have a wee dram with this one?
I've already
gotta
got
go
one for myself. Is this the same one that I have in my glass?
Oh, I think so.
Distiller choice?
Yeah. We'll grab something. Yeah, you're all good, mate? Yeah.
Yeah, Mark's all over it. See, we're prepared.
Cheers.
We know what we're doing. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Perfect.
Cheers, everybody.
All right. It's tell tell us about this dram. Sorry, I ask you a question right as you go for a sip. You know, I'm the worst sort of host. Actually, tell us a bit about you and what you do in the distillery. What's your story? What's your origin story?
So I'm based on King Island at the King Island Honey Farm, and the clever lady that has also made this beautiful Ned Kelpie out of King Island bull kelp has given me a naughty corner to do the distilling.
Yep.
And Peter Bailey has custom made my 2 stills. They're just little stills, 50 litres each.
Wow.
And they're in the shape of angel wings. So you can see my angel wings, because we've got
right.
angel share from out of the barrel.
Yep.
And I'm sure sometimes they take more than 30%.
Especially
And,
the really good casks. Like they seem to evaporate a little bit more, right?
It's just the angels are busy on King Island, I can tell you. And we're lucky to have a little setup, and we are very micro, but that's so that we can do the heavy lifting and the thinking ourselves. So, yeah.
So how long have you been doing it for?
I've been in there for probably 3 years, and I spend a lot of time in there because I really enjoy it. It's good fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you get into it?
So I had a restaurant and accommodation on the east coast of King Island, and late one night we had a local say to me, "There's a lot of apples on King Island.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you could do something with them?" And I can only make so many apple pies. So that just developed into me writing a letter to Bill and saying, "Hey, I've researched cider, and I think that's not quite for me. But can you tell me a bit about the whiskey industry?" So he said, "Yeah, come on down to Hobart." So I booked a ticket and away I went, and it never looked back. Bill and Lynn have been so supportive, and it's been an incredible journey.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So and they're still wonderful friends, and we're due for
to
some
be
crayfish
fair, I think Bill and
again.
Lynn are friends with everybody. I think,
Absolutely.
Bill tends to get around a little bit.
Yeah.
He's not here to defend himself, so I can say things about him.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, have you tried it?
I have.
Right. Actually, you should tell us about this cask. Sorry, I asked you a question, then I got distracted.
It's easy to get distracted with this because it is a pretty nice whiskey. We've capped it at 49% because we certainly don't want to water it down anymore. And it's single cask, so out of every cask I have 10 bottles. So as soon as I empty the barrel, it goes straight into 10 bottles at full cask strength.
Yep.
And then the rest is watered down with King Island cloud juice. And we probably do the next batch at probably 52% because that's for me that's probably a bit sweeter again. Nice to spot, but it's nice to experiment and see what works. Yeah.
It's the 10 cask strength bottles. So obliged to ask.
What was your question?
Who gets the 10 cask strength bottles?
Well, I've got them at cellar door, and I do happen to have a couple with me. So those that really love a whiskey, and not everybody has had full cask strength. I don't know if it's a thing, but I don't want to hold back on this one. It's really nice.
That's great. So single cask.
Yes.
What type of cask was it?
Pedro.
Yep.
And cherry.
Size? Did you touch on
30 litres,
30
and it's been in there for 3 years.
Very rich. It's another big whiskey. I mean, so far we've gone well and we haven't had a bad whiskey. I mean, still time though, so that's great.
Hobart didn't line up tonight though.
True. So I've got to give a shout out to everyone trying this, and especially Sandy on King Island, and thanks for the support. Yeah, it's terrific.
No, I imagine there's probably not too many people that have had a chance to try your whiskey, so great to have you as a part of this virtual.
Great to be here, thank you.
So
and
what else during Tasmanian Whisky Week are you doing, Heidi?
So we're at Meet the Maker in Launceston, and
So that's on
Thursday the
Thursday
11th.
night, and tickets are still available for that event.
Awesome. Well, make sure you come and see us and taste this in person. Don't miss out. And also at the Spirits Showcase. That's going to be the big one. That's going to be amazing.
Will this be your first Spirit Showcase? Or?
The last time I was at the Spirit Showcase was 2019, and I was on the other side of the bar. And Bill was introducing me to people, which was a lot of fun. So this time is a lot more serious for me.
Yes, yep.
But still, it'll be just as much fun.
I think it's a lot more fun being on the side of the bar that we're on. So then we can just, watch all the other clowns go around and drink.
Yeah. Well, a big thing for me getting into this industry was meeting all these amazing people that you see here. That's my reason for,
Oh, it's a great
embracing
industry.
it.
Like, look what we've done here. We've pulled in a whole bunch of, distillers and producers to, come along and talk about whiskey. And it's not uncommon to do this sort of stuff. So
awesome. Well, invite me anytime. I'm happy to fly over and enjoy great company and great whiskey.
Yeah, perfect. No, thank you. Any questions online, Mark? Or
No, we're all good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, cheers, everybody. Enjoy.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming along. And look forward to seeing what else comes out of your distillery. And I should ask, bottles are available online, or
they are. I actually package every single one myself, so don't be shy in ordering. And we've got a couple of other spirits as well. But and we've just started distributing these through Frogmore Creek Wines.
Yes,
They've stocked all 8 of my spirits. So if you want to have a wee dram, go to Frogmore, and we'll find other places to share the spirit with while we're here.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, we're here most of August, so give us a shout out if you want to catch up.
Yeah. No.
And thank you so much for hosting this.
Yeah, no,
it was wonderful.
Great. Anytime. Yeah, great. Thank you very much.
And at the end of the stream tonight, we'll be showing a little video you've prepared for us of the distillery as well, for those who don't get the chance to get to King Island.
Excellent. Well, it's all about King Island and collaborating and being stronger together, and it does show a fair bit of King Island and the highlights. So pretty proud King Islander being made there. It's we can't talk it up enough. So do come and visit.
Oh, one day, yes, absolutely. Yeah. My wife doesn't like small planes though. So I'm not
they're not small. They're huge. They've even got a toilet. So things are looking up. We're getting booked out all the time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll definitely make the trip because I think this might be the first time that I've had your whiskey, so it's quite exciting and very keen. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Heidi.
Cheers.
All right, cheers. Really? All right. So, thank you guys who are still watching us live. You can probably take a couple of minutes now to have a bit of a breather, since who wants to talk to this man here? All right. Okay. I shouldn't start sledging yet. Okay.
Asking about his moustache. It is a pretty bad moustache.
All right. So, for those who don't know, sitting next to me, we have Tom from 7K Distillery. How you doing?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Not bad. I can see you brought an empty bottle today. Thank you for that.
The whiskey was just that good. It just evaporated.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
That angel share you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All righty. So, where do we start? Tell us a little bit about you, 7K.
I'm at 7K. Previous to that, I actually did try to get a job at Hobart, but they turned me down very quickly. Moved to 7K. Doing production there. Previously with Lark, and then previously in Scotland. So, just love whiskey as a Kiwi. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So, how long have you been doing it for? Whiskey.
So production since probably 2019, and then just ambassador and tasting roles since about 2017.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So, it's good. Good fun.
All right. Perfect. So, all right. Tell us about this whiskey.
So this whiskey is at the moment 7K's oldest to date. So quite a young distillery, just starting up about 5.5 years ago. So 3 years, 9 months old. Ex-Pinot cask from Frogmore Creek. Bottled 49.7%. Really enjoyable Pinot dram.
All right. Go into it a bit more. I'm going to put you on the spot. Give us some tasting notes. Educate us. Elaborate.
Yep. So on the nose, and one particular note I just got that I really liked was lemon meringue pie. I get a lot of kind of charred plum, pineapple, almost moving into like a Toblerone. On the palate with this one, again, I find it going towards that stewed fruits, mainly red apples, cherry ripe, and then kind of finishing with a bit of a chocolatey note. Again, that Toblerone or caramelized white chocolate.
It's definitely like a lot of that light fruit on the nose that I wasn't really expecting for a Pinot. I expected it to be, I guess, a lot more wine influenced. Yeah.
No, it's nice.
I guess, yeah.
I'm always very nervous when it comes to our Pinot casks. Not huge on the red wine normally myself, but somehow the spirit that Tyler made back in 2018 works really well with the Pinot casks, the bourbon casks.
Yeah, right. So full maturation Pinot as well.
Full maturation, single cask.
Yeah, wow. And I think you probably did tell us how big the cask was, but
100 litre.
100 litre. Yeah, right. Well,
so this is one of the larger releases 7K have had to
So yeah, largest release we've done so far. Previously, we'll only have about 30 to 45 bottles from a cask. So with this one, we had 220. Released about a month ago. And we're releasing another whiskey on Tuesday at the Boilermaker event at Gold Bar.
Right. What whiskey is that? Can you tell us?
Yeah. So that's going to be what we're going to call a sherry cherry.
Sorry.
Sherry cherry.
Sherry cherry.
It's the Kiwi accent, don't worry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So a sherry cask whiskey, sitting at about 3 years, 10 months old.
Yep.
And actually this Pinot cask we sent up to Keppel's Brewery, north of the state.
Yep.
They put a cherry stout in it for 48 days. Gave it back to us, and almost about 48 days we've had the sherry whiskey in there.
The sherry cherry.
Sherry cherry. You got it. You're quick. I give you credit for that. So we'll be releasing that one on Tuesday.
Right.
And then at the showcase, which we'll also be at, we're also going to be releasing a little bourbon cask as well.
Oh, wow.
20 litre bourbon.
You've been busy.
Been busy.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. All the more whiskey.
Yeah.
So, I think everybody that goes for one of the cherry sherry, they get one of the little 7K pins that we've just started bringing out.
Did you bring one for me?
Yep. That's right here.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing. Mark, any...
We do. We have our first question for someone.
Unfortunately, it's not. I'll be putting that on at about 1 o'clock in the morning. I think we play the Box at 1 a.m. and then I think the Wallabies have got the Pumas at about 5 a.m. So it's going to be a late night of drinking whiskey. But not this one. This one isn't an all black top.
So our first question from the audience, and it's not even whiskey related.
No.
I'm sure it's probably from some Irish person.
Yeah, I think it's from Tasmania's first Irish pot still style distiller.
Yeah.
And I think he was hoping to bring up a recent game or match.
Yeah,
I believe the All
I think
Blacks
he's probably
match.
talking about the Wallabies England game. That's probably what he's talking about. Yeah.
Or the Irish.
No, don't.
Irish All Blacks.
Don't recall that one.
I don't think it was a game, it was a series, wasn't it? A series of games.
I
don't remember that.
That I'm going to bring back to whiskey. That opens up a lot in the glass, and 1 drop of water. So, I'm very partial to cask strength whiskey, but I think just 1 drop. So I think you got it wrong. I think it just needed 1 drop of water. But
I've had another one say it could have stayed exactly at that, if not 1 drop higher.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Who was it? I'll sort them out.
That was a smart gentleman by the name of Dean.
Horses for courses. Yeah. What are you rubbing your head for? So tell us about the moustache.
So that's been with me for probably since like 2015.
Why?
Why not? Yeah.
Are you going to grow a beard? I mean, you've been in the industry a little while now, so.
Yeah, no, I actually shaved that off today. It's about the same length as yours.
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to shave twice a week.
Right.
So you've already mentioned the Boilermaker, Tom, which is on Tuesday at Gold Bar, which is sold out. But what other Tasmanian Whisky Week events will you be involved in?
We're involved with the Boilermaker and in the showcase, just the two. We did have another little Boilermaker event, but unfortunately didn't go ahead. We'll be at the showcase and have plenty of whiskey there, so it should be a good week.
And you'll be at the showcase?
Yep, I'll be at the showcase.
Giving mustache wax tips?
We'll be giving mustache wax tips as well.
Fantastic.
Did you bring a sample of the sherry cherry tonight to share, or?
I didn't, but the distillery's just down the road, so I might.
So you're going to go grab one?
I'll go grab one.
Perfect. Thank you. I'd really like to
get a sample.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll bring that back for the next dram.
All right. Absolutely. Perfect. Well, thank you, mate, for coming along. Any questions from the audience?
Why the mustache?
Why not the mustache?
Seriously, dude. Do you want a sex life?
All right. Thank you, Tom. You can go sort that out.
Free mercury?
Wow, this is going downhill rapidly, isn't it? But you know,
Fortunately, we're streaming to someone who's not here for that.
Alrighty. So up next, who do we have? We have Rob Tyson from Old Kempton Distillery.
Good afternoon. Good evening, all.
How you doing, mate?
I'm very well. As an antisocial person, I've taken the liberty of calling in for this remote tasting. So I thought I'd make the most of having all the technology set up.
A little bit disappointed, but you know, you're not the only one. I'm just disappointed in everybody, to be fair. All right, so.
Wow. that is fair, to be fair.
There's a lot more of us than there is of you. We can take it.
Yeah, but nobody else wants to host this, right? So you got to wait till I finish at least. Alrighty. Mate, tell us about Old Kempton, bit of the story, bit about your story. What are you doing? How are things?
So naturally, Old Kempton was born on a dark and stormy night many years ago. So this is actually our 10th year distilling. So we'll be celebrating our 10th anniversary later in the year. Started off as Redlands Estate on the beautiful property out near Plenty, and then moved to Kempton a couple of years ago. So moved into our new distillery in November of last year. So distilling there now, and really starting to kind of hit our straps. We've got a lot of really nice whiskies coming through at the moment, and laying down a lot more. So come another 4 or 5 years down the track, we'll have a lot more whiskey coming out and available for everyone. So the whiskey that we've got for you tonight is the Spanish Sherry. So it took us all afternoon to come up with that name, obviously. So aged in a combination of Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso casks. So these were a collection of about 5 to 10, 8 exactly, casks went into this one. So they were small 38-litre Oloroso and PX casks out of Spain. And usually with Old Kempton, you'll find that we try quite a spirit-driven style. So we let our casks do about 50% of the work, but we like our spirit to really shine as well. Whereas on this whiskey, you'll find that the cask is really the hero here. So for me, it's quite meaty to start with. Like it's got that kind of savoury, kind of earthy, rich umami kind of style coming through. But then as it warms in the glass, which is something you really have to wait for down in Kempton at this time of year, really have to put the work in to get a nice warm whiskey. Then you start to get that dark chocolate, the dried fruits. And for me, quite a nostalgic flavour. It's pears poached in red wine with spices. And that's one of the big ones that come through for me on this whiskey.
Yeah, nice. Absolutely lovely on the nose. I haven't tried it yet. It is opening up in the glass as it warms up a little bit. I definitely picked the Oloroso, though, on the nose, sort of like you touched on, sort of like that sort of fruit mince pie, spicy fruit note coming through. And 55%.
55%. So that's what happens when you sit there and start with it at a natural cask strength and keep adding a little bit of water until it just gets a little bit less than what you wanted. Then you add a bit more whiskey back in, take the ABV, and that's what you end up with. So 55 was our one for this, and not a normal whiskey release for us. So we prioritise Pinot Noir, port. There are 2 big cask types. Bourbon's making them a lot greater percentage of our cask fuel these days. But with the Spanish Sherry, quite a fruity aspect to our whiskey, kind of drowns out some of the lighter aspects of our spirit, but still a delicious whiskey. And at the end of the day, what more can you ask for than that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it drinks so well, even at 55%. It's any thoughts, Mark? You want to weigh in on this one?
Mark has been uncharacteristically quiet this evening, I've noted.
We've actually cropped him out of frame at the moment as well.
So it's even better. But Rob, how tough is it for you to come up with that ABV when you try to do these distillers sort of special releases?
Honestly, not hard at all. It's just a matter of us sitting down and drinking whiskey till we think it's the best whiskey that it can be. So, that's the side of the job that is the dream. So much of distilling is the early mornings, the cleaning stills, the like the kind of the rubbish side of it. So when it's down to working with a finished whiskey, especially one like this, and like really kind of putting those finishing touches on, making sure it can be the best whiskey it can be, that's why we do it. That's the stuff we love. So yeah, not hard at all. That's awesome work.
Yeah, no, it's complimentary.
Complimentary.
Do you want to read it out? Because I can't read that from here without my glasses.
Sorry, John. It says, "This is the perfect winter warmer, Rob. Wonderful brand from Christian."
Beautiful. Yeah, we to be honest, we actually started with about 100 litres of this one, and by the time we got around to bottling it, there was only about 80 litres left. So it's still available on the website, but it's a particular favourite of the boss down there, Martin. So yeah, don't be surprised if you don't get in quick, it might be gone.
Yeah, perfect. No, it's good to know. And what other Tasmanian Whisky Week events are you participating in?
So we're doing a bit of a Boilermaker conference. So Adam from our sales team will be up at Communion up in Burnie, representing in the north of the state. So he'll be up there for that one. Nick, our assistant distiller, will be at the one in Gold Bar. They'll both be taking out Coach House, which is our new cask strength release. So it's getting released to the world on Monday. It's actually in my other glass that I'm drinking tonight because it's it's a whiskey that really kind of encapsulates old Kempton style. So up at 60%, a range of different cask types, and it's just an awesome whiskey.
Yeah, right. So where does that name Coach House come from?
The Coach House comes from, so anyone who's visited the old Kempton site, our bond store's in the old stables, which is the name for our kind of entry-level whiskey. The Coach House is next door. Used to, back in the colonial days, keep the coaches overnight when people were stopping in at the inn. But since we arrived at Kempton, it was actually the site of our temporary distillery. So we only moved out of that in November last year. So this is a little homage to our time spent distilling in that space. And it is a space that a lot of us hold a lot of love for. There's a whole lot of kind of very old graffiti in there when you know where to look behind the stills. In the wrong weather, it's one of the coldest places you'll ever be. But it's somewhere that has been a big part of our story. So we really kind of wanted to, we're a distillery that really likes to take elements of our story and kind of connect them to our brand and connect them to where we're going in the future as well.
I can't help but think, though, that even with the new distillery build, which is amazing, by the way, you're talking about the cold weather in the old distillery, right? But when I was out there, I think you said to lift the roller doors all the time anyway, so it honestly can't be that much warmer in there. So
well, this week's been pretty good. We cracked double figures this week, so you can't complain about that.
I've seen some photos of snow out there and pretty heavy frost.
This week was good. A week before last, we had a day that we didn't get above 2, and I started at the leisurely 8 o'clock. I had to keep gentlemanly hours, so it was only -3 when I got to work. But Nick, who was in at 6:30, it was -5 when he got there.
Oh, that's nice.
And yeah, so
I mean, we're trying to encourage people to come out to the distillery, though. So maybe don't talk about the cold weather. I think
if you want something to encourage good whiskey drinking, -5 is as good as it gets. So
okay. Right, that's fair.
And Old Kempton, I believe, are running free tours all this week at the Tas Whisky Week. That's right, Rob?
Absolutely. So the site out in Kempton, always happy to take people around, but for Whisky Week, free tours. So our tour guides have been out there running through their stuff, getting ready for. We've got quite a lot of groups already booked in. So if you do want to turn up unannounced, don't fret. You will have people coming on tour with you, and we'll be distilling all week. So you'll be able to get down and see us hard at work.
Yeah, well, perfect.
And next month, featured at one of my events at the Star Theatre in Launceston. Thanks
mate,
for that.
This is a Whisky Week event. Please leave your own propaganda out of it.
Yeah,
we will mute you.
We're always excited to get up to Lonnie and do an event up there as well.
Yeah, perfect. No, they are good events. We did one yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Last night. Look, thank you, mate, for coming on. Still very disappointed in you for not making the effort to come in. But, I get it. It's fine.
My pleasure. Thank you, everybody.
Right. Thank you, mate. Where are we at? How are we doing for time?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. So up next, we have Dale.
Do we?
I believe so. Yeah. Alrighty, this one's really quite exciting. Before the event, I actually went through and tried most of the other whiskies, but I've been holding out on this one because it's quite special. I believe it's special.
Special and rather limited. This is our...
No, hang on, we're not quite there yet.
Oh,
right? Okay. Just calm down. It's all right. One thing at a time. We've got a bit of time. So, all right, how are you going?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah.
Perfect. Had a good day?
Great day.
Perfect. Good to hear. Good to hear. Tell us a little bit about you and your distillery.
Okay. Well, firstly, there was a virtual tasting, so I brought a virtual bottle because, like all great first releases in this age of COVID, we're still waiting on our labels, and we're launching on Thursday. They're sitting with a courier somewhere in Hobart.
Okay.
They didn't particularly want to work till 5 o'clock on Friday, so
yeah. Okay. All right.
we're going well.
But I mean,
about us.
Yeah. About you.
So,
how did you get into it? Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
I live only half an hour from Hobart, but it seems like you're a million miles away. We're on a small farm, 33 acres behind Collinsvale. So we join on to the national park there, and that's where our water comes from. So we've got a sneaky pipe, gravity feeding water out of the national park.
Yes, okay. Is that
that's legal?
Okay,
yeah.
Right. I wasn't sure if we might have to snip that bit out of the video, so
it's okay. We only take a little bit, but yeah. So we get first dibs on the water, and there was a farm before us, a berry farm, and so they've been doing it for 100 years. So I think we're okay.
You think
we'll
you're
just
okay?
keep going.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, absolutely.
Plenty of snow melt up there.
So how long have you been distilling out there?
So the process started in 2018 and distilling 2019, late 2019.
Yeah.
We started
what made
putting
you get
things
into it?
A stint in the UK, drinking Scottish whiskies, got me into whiskey. Returning to Tassie and trying Tasmanian whiskies, and I went, wow, they're phenomenal.
Have you tried my whiskey?
I have. It is.
Perfect. Good.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Stout cask was phenomenal, I've got to say. It's almost as good as ours. So. No,
that's
I had to
fair.
say that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So this is really quite exciting because this is your first release, right?
First release. So we've got two first releases simultaneously.
Yeah, right. Yep.
This one, which is now sold out.
This one's sold out.
This one's sold out. So what you're having here are the very last. I'm actually enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying these samples because I haven't got any to drink of my own. They're sitting there ready to be mailed off.
Yeah, okay, but you've got no labels. Right.
No.
Yeah, okay.
So it's a clean skin at the moment.
I mean, with some of these little labels on it, if you get rid of
they're not as pretty as mine, but
I made these, just so you know.
I mean, they're absolutely awesome, John.
All right, perfect. So tell us about this whiskey. First release, very exciting. Cask type. Well, this whiskey, all right. We'll do this whiskey first.
Do this one.
All right.
So this one is a Tas Pinot.
Yeah.
You'll be tasting. It's unlike any Pinot I've had. Pinot Cask.
Yep.
It was barreled at 63.5.
Yep.
But we ended up settling on 56.8. It's a bit random.
Yep.
56.8. It was too good to cut any further, really.
Yep.
It drinks really, really nicely and almost presents like a fortified in a sense. You got very rich caramelly tones.
Fruity.
The fruitiness comes from our new make. I spent a lot of time experimenting because we do our mashing and milling on site.
Yep.
And so experimenting with coming up with the best new make I possibly could. And our new make actually won a silver medal at the World Whiskey Awards earlier this year.
Yeah. Wow.
So I was a bit chuffed for our first entry.
Yep.
So that's the same new make that is the basis for this.
Yeah.
And the other...
and the other first release.
The other first release.
So Pinot Cask, Tasmanian Pinot Cask,
Tassie
size,
Pinot.
Recoopered.
Locally, Tas Casco.
Yep, perfect.
Heavy char.
Yep.
Only a wee barrel, only a wee 20.
Yep.
Hence small numbers as we were starting and trying to work out what was going to work well for us. But the Pinot is going to be a mainstay for us.
Yeah.
It's just worked so well, in my opinion.
Oh,
But I'll let everyone else judge that because
I've still been nosing it. It's just so rich on the nose.
Yeah, can't stop nosing that one.
Yeah.
It's got a white pepper dust in the smoke that I always love.
Yes.
Whiskey.
Yeah. I pick up caramelized orange as a citrus base in there, and the pepper seems to come in well.
Yeah.
Did
you say it was French oak?
Yes.
Yeah. Pinot cask, right?
Pinot.
Yeah. So I mean, that is so delightful as well at 56%.
I had the good fortune to attend Dale's last Tas Whisky Week event at the Glass House where we got to try his new make.
Yes.
Which was very special, so I'm not at all surprised that this kind of spirit coming once it's been in the cask.
I think I was there as well.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you've attended a lot.
No, that's absolutely phenomenal. You should be really proud of that.
Thank you.
Big step, like getting into whiskey, right? And then
huge step. And now I'm surrounded by all of these amazing people that have been in the industry for a long time. It's fairly daunting,
Don't worry about that, mate.
So one of the common questions we're getting in the chat is, what got you into whiskey personally?
Okay. Personally, meeting local distillers in the industry here, probably unlike anywhere else. People are very encouraging of newcomers and sort of encourage you to get involved. And so, someone said to me, you could do this. And so I thought, maybe I can.
And then top tip if someone was thinking of getting into distilling whiskey?
Top tip. I would talk to other distillers, do lots of research. So I did lots and lots of research, talked to other people about what they were doing, learned about the whole process. So learned about the whole mashing process and the making a really good base for your new make. So you can't get great you can't get great new make if you're not making great beer as a base.
It's all part of the process, right? Like good wash, good spirit,
absolutely.
Good wood, good conditions. Like you can't really cheat anything, right?
No, there's no shortcuts really, and there are a million variables, as we know. So you've got the variables of your grain, of your mash, of your wash and the process, then your distilling cuts, and then your timber, then your maturation. So where we are, we discovered that we're at 420 metres, so we're one of the higher, I don't know if we're the highest, but one of the higher whiskey distilleries in Tassie. And so what we found was that in winter, when normally people say your barrels are fairly steady and dormant, not much is happening until the warmer, higher variations, we get cold weather fronts coming down off Kenyani. And you can, when a cold front's coming through and you go into the bond store and you'll see actually the wetness coming through the heads.
Yeah, right.
And I've got film of it actually bubbling out through the bungs because of that. It's higher pressure inside than outside.
Yep.
So it's actually driving maturation.
Wow. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's rather interesting.
So just to clarify, Wellington Distillery is the name of the distillery. Eden's the whiskey.
Yes, there's a little confusion there. So Wellington Park Distillery, it's the name of the distillery, and we call ourselves Eden Whisky because where we're living is our little slice of Eden, surrounded by all those wonderful animals and goshawks and eagles and bandicoots and you name it. I've got wallabies that hop into the distillery if I leave the roller door up looking for grain.
Yeah, a bit more of that angel share.
Oh, and the angels, they suck a fair bit out.
No, that's great. That's absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, folks.
So Dale, what other Tas Whisky Week events can we see Eden and Wellington Park at?
Yeah, so Eden will be at the Yacht Club on Friday. I believe.
So Meet the Maker.
Meet the Maker.
That's a great event as well.
That
so
is sold out.
A lot of fun.
There is a wait list. Yep.
Yeah, great. Yep. So we're at that. We are launching. We've got a private event this Thursday coming. Our launch, limited numbers because of the space. So we're launching, and some people will be receiving their bottles down at Mac 1.
Yeah, perfect. And is that sold out, or are there still tickets?
Yeah, so that's a sold out event.
But you'll be at the showcase on Saturday?
On Saturday, unfortunately, we can't make the showcase.
So if they want to get your bottles, they need to go online and
jump online.
Yep.
There are literally about 3 or 4 bottles left of the we call it Autograph. This is the author's make, and Autograph is an American oak ex-bourbon, but it shares that same new make. So it comes in with a real pepperiness and a citrus at the end, which is quite unusual.
Yeah.
Do you have any with you?
No.
Disappointing.
I know, John. I've let everybody down. I've let everybody down.
No, that's great. Yeah, you should be
Cheers.
really proud of that.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your first
Cheers,
release.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely stoked to have you here.
Awesome.
Such an amazing thing to be able to share your first release with all of these punters online as well.
Yeah,
so,
it's great. It's great to have people out there trying and testing, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
Thank you.
All right. We're over halfway through.
Excellent.
I'm just coming up, mate. You know, just
wander on in.
That's it.
Oh,
not bad. How you doing?
Good. Good to see you. Hello, folks. At home, wherever everyone's coming in from.
Peeps at home. Thank you for sticking around this long on this beautiful Friday.
Well, we're only halfway through, and I think everyone's starting to enjoy the whiskies back there.
Yeah, they've been a lot quieter.
Everyone's getting ahead of the list now.
They sort of creep up in volume a little bit, and you just give them a bit of a side glance, and they settle down again. So, Brett, this is thanks for coming online to the virtual tasting. Wow, I think I'm losing it. This is Mr. Brett Steele from Spirit Thief Distilling Co. How you doing?
I'm good, John.
Good day?
Yeah. No, we've had a really good day. Excited to be a part of getting Tas Whisky Week kicking off again. So it's Thursday night's opening, and now this is sort of the pre-event, really getting ready for the official week.
That's right, absolutely. Well, I sort of feel like we're already in the week. Don't undersell it. It's an amazing event.
True. It's extending each year.
All right. Thank you, mate. So, tell us about you, what you do, what we've got. Well, don't tell us what we've got here. Tell us about you and the distillery.
Before the whiskey. All right, sure. So,
elevator pitch, please.
Elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Spirit Thief specialises in using ex-red wine cask sort of style. So, French oak and American oak, but we really wanted to focus on the varietals. So, when we started in 2015, we laid down some R&D casks in French oak Tempranillo and American oak Shiraz, and that was a lot of fun, and that sort of got us through the first few years. And then 2018, we were able to take some investors on board and be able to scale and grow the business exponentially. So then we got to do some exciting things around R&D down at the Huntingfield site where we're based, about 20 minutes south down at Hobart. And really now we make about 1,000 litres a month down there.
Yeah, right.
And the fun thing about this particular spirit when we got into it is that this actually uses an Abbey Ale yeast in our wash. So we use a distiller's yeast M1 and an Abbey Ale yeast, and we really found that new make spirit kind of spoke to the style of ex-red wine casks that we wanted to do full maturations in. So toasted and charred on different levels for different maturations. Yeah.
I have to say, I've not been a big fan of red wine casks.
I know. You're sledging the red wine casks. You were waiting for it before I even came on, John.
I've been trying to resist. But I have to say, I've been impressed with your barrel management because they do come out not too bad,
Not too bad. Yeah.
No, that's great. And anything else about the distillery? I mean, you guys are based down there with a couple of other distillers.
We are. We're on site with Overeem and White Label down there on the same premises. So Casey Overeem's sort of our landlord for the whole site. And really for us, we kind of built the whole model of Spirit Thief backwards. We started out as an independent bottler. Dean Jackson from Spring Bay, who helped us do the initial spirit back in 2015.
Yep.
I come from the wine industry originally in McLaren Vale. So we wanted to treat oak from day one in the same way that winemakers treat oak, with looking at French oak for the spice and some of those flavour profiles, rather than the traditional sort of ports and sherries that we were seeing a lot at the time. So for us, we're now been producing on these
1,800 nap lure wash stills and 800 litre spirit still at the Huntingfield site, which is the white label premises where I get to brew and distill. And then next year is really exciting because we're now looking at our own premises and new distillery.
Yeah, right. That's sort of what I was alluding to. Like, you guys don't have your own still, right? You're using the still from white label, and from what I understand, you're on the tools and doing a lot of the work.
Well, and this spirit here was mashed and brewed and distilled by myself and Anthony White, who has a history through Nant and Belgrove. It's a great team to sort of learn from. And then this time next year, hopefully we'll be fully operational. So the idea was to build the volume, build the brand in our style, and then expand and have our cellar door in operation.
That's exciting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're looking at being at the gateway to the southern Tasmanian whisky and wine region. I can say that much.
I don't know where that is.
More to be revealed in time.
Right? Like...
Yeah. Just next door, John. Just next door. We'll be neighbours.
No, that's great. All right. So tell us about this whiskey. It's a big whiskey. I haven't tried it yet. 63.7%.
Well, look, so in the bottle, we normally release, we call this our Cellar Reserve series. So it's usually 48.3%. And that's where we find our whiskeys sit really nicely. But special for tonight, for the virtual tasting, I've actually brought this out at natural cask strength.
Oh, wow.
So 63.7, I believe. Yeah, so we haven't even bottled this. So it's just specific for tonight's tasting.
So can people buy it?
They can't actually buy this particular one in the dram. Now, I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I get a lot of requests for natural cask strength. And when you do come and visit us at the distillery, which anyone's welcome to send us a message this week or anytime you're here in Tassie, and it's fun to be able to try them, obviously, at full cask strength, full maturation. This is in French oak that previously held Grenache. So it's almost a drier sort of style of whiskey than the rich fortification and the sweetness, but a lot of spice and pepper that comes through.
Yeah, I definitely get a bit of that light pepper. It drinks surprisingly well for 63%. And while I'm going to keep being disappointed, I'm disappointed I haven't bottled it to sell at this ABV. So any plans to? Obviously not.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where I weigh up for Tas Whiskey Week. Maybe we do a special release bottling for Dark Mofo and Winter Feast. We did that just last month. And who knows, we might do this for next year if people like it. So, guys, on the comments, I'd love to know what you guys think of this sort of style of French oak. It's rich for us. It's very much tangerines and nectarines, white pepper, sugar almonds, but it is drier rather than super sweet. So something a little bit different in the mix tonight with what we wanted to bring along.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's great. And there is a comment there. Someone has said that they're a little bit sad can't buy the cask strength. So
yeah,
I think you are
understand. But on the flip side of things, it's an exclusive for Tas Whiskey Week and just for you guys tonight, because I wanted to give a little bit of experience of what it's like coming to Spirit Thief. We do crack casks. You get to try it natural cask strength. We don't really release cask strength on a whole as yet, but we do have something a little bit exciting coming out later this year.
Oh, right. Can you tell us?
It's called Future Black.
Future
and,
Black. Right, okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a secret project we've been working on for a while.
It's not that secret. You just told us what it is.
Well, mate,
right?
but we don't know what it is, do we? We don't know what's involved.
So what's Future Black?
We'll say it's our best casks coming along in our bond store. It's our spice rack. So we've got a variety of different things. Mark's been privy to some tastings of this, but
so how does
later
that work?
on
How
in the
does
year,
Mark get invited now for that?
I've tried all the Spirit Thief range.
And the Future Black, we got a chance to do a little bit of that, didn't we?
Fantastic.
All right.
Yeah. So
and
later
did
this
you bring
year,
any tonight?
No, because I knew that you would be harping on about it, and you don't even care for our style.
That is
red wine whiskies. Although, go on, tell me you haven't got any laid down behind you. Go on.
No,
tell me you don't believe in it at all.
It's red wine's a funny thing. It's not my favourite cask type, to be fair, but this is absolutely phenomenal. And
red wines from Spirit Thief are my favourite.
Yeah,
they've all been really, really good.
Thank you, Mark. That's exciting to hear. So it is available as 48.3% on our website.
And I don't know, are we doing codes? Because we set up a code word for Tas Whiskey Week. Can you
Okay.
chuck that up?
I can throw something.
Probably would have been nice to know that before we went live.
Mate,
but
I think I set it on to Kate, and I remember
so
this
you're
time
going to throw
last
Kate
year.
under the bus, really?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, okay.
Poor Kate.
Yeah.
All the love and no. So TWW20 and Tas Whiskey Week 22. Sorry. Right? 22, aren't we? We're in Tas Whiskey Week 22.
Yeah.
And that'll get you 15% off of this bottle on our website, spiritthief.com.au. Yeah, and then if you want to try it, at this style, come and visit us at the distillery, and this time next year, hopefully we'll be, relocating to a much
where?
bigger,
Sorry, I
much bigger
didn't catch
premises,
where
the
you-
Southern Gateway,
Southern
Tasmanian's
Gateway,
Whisky
yeah.
and Wine.
When does that code expire again?
It's midnight tomorrow night.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you like this sort of style, it'll basically give you $30 off of this bottling for French Oak Grenache.
So midnight Sunday, the 7th of August, that'll expire.
Yeah. So another 30 hours.
That's obviously specific, Mark. Yeah. Thank you for. Yeah.
Fantastic.
For those watching later.
Yeah, for those. Well, I mean, this is why you tune in live, right? Because you might miss the opportunity.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely phenomenal, mate. And
thanks, mate.
even with a drop of water, just opens it up. So
absolutely. If you've got some at home, I highly recommend using drops of water. As I say, we bring this out at 48. Becomes very floral, aromatic. But for this, it's rich and pungent with that pepper.
And any other events Spirit Thief doing during Tas Whiskey Week?
Yes, we're doing the Meet the Maker Friday night.
That's all about.
Yacht Club,
Yep.
which was fantastic last year as a punter. So this year we're presenting a number of whiskies. And then what else are we on? Spirit Showcase on the Saturday.
Still tickets available for the Spirit Showcase?
Yes, both sessions.
Both sessions.
Both sessions, great. PW1. And then on Sunday we'll be at Hobart Brewing Company for the comedy. Comedy.
So are you doing the comedy or?
I thought you were. That's why I was coming along.
Maybe.
You're so good at it, John.
I'm just
You're
naturally
natural.
funny, right?
Yeah, exactly.
People just naturally laugh at me. I get that a lot. Can't imagine why. No, look, that's great. Thank you, mate. Again, disappointed it's not available at that ABV, but it was not bad at 47.
Not bad for a wine caster.
Yeah, not bad for a wine caster. Red wine caster,
Yeah.
We've all got to start somewhere, right?
Spin it out. You'll get there eventually. Once you crack yours and you realise what you've been missing out on for years on end.
Yeah. No, that's right. All right. Thank you, mate, for
Thanks,
coming
folks.
along.
Have a good evening.
All right. Here we go.
Downhill.
It's this is disappointing.
Have you guys got the beats ready?
Mate, Chris, mate, thank you for dressing up in your best t-shirt.
I wore it myself. Can't be trusted with buttons these days. So. Hi, everyone. Hi.
I think there's probably a lot of people at home that know who you are, but you can tell us anyway. Who are you?
I'm Chris. I'm the head distiller, head blender for Lark. Been with Lark for 15 years now. And, really excited to be celebrating the Tas Whiskey Week. But also, it's also 30 years of the industry and 30 years of Lark. So pretty pumped about that.
I mean, I thought you were going to say you're excied to be here tonight, sitting side by side with me. And
I'm pretty excited to be having drams with all of like there's really close friends I've known for like a decade more, and some new friends up there, and everyone's having a great time. So I hope everyone at home's. I truly hope everyone at home is having as much fun as everyone is.
So
Just over there.
everybody at home is really jealous that we get to sit here and do this.
And drink lots and lots of whiskey and just have the best time celebrating the start of Tas Whiskey. I like your sample size. I bought mine.
So you're not driving tonight?
I am Ubering. Come over and get one, Dave.
And look, any bottles that are open here have to stay here, just so you're aware.
We'll do the usual whiskey exchange. I'm a massive Hobart whiskey fan, so we'll top up. There we go.
All right.
Righto.
All right.
Well, here we go. To get rid of what's in there. That
was yours. I'm trying to top it up.
Can't just be live blending.
Such a tool.
Righto. Well, you can see we're having a great time.
We should consider next year doing a live blending. Like, would you be able to sit down?
I would love to do that, actually.
We could.
Cheers.
We can't cheers Mark because he's a bit
I'm
slow.
I'm trying to
chop. Technicalities, righto.
What an honour. Thank you, mate. Like it's, I said when you arrived today, I thought for sure you were going to pike and like tune in remotely. So I'm glad to have you here.
Well, my wife is just texted me to say she's still putting the kids to bed. There was no chance I was going to miss.
So I'm super proud of the fact you didn't flake on us because it's we don't often get to catch up, all of us. Do
No,
we? So-
I know. It's 3 kids has sort of made the distillery social life a bit tricky these days.
Yeah.
You're a busy man.
Yeah.
And
All right, perfect. So, when we put together the lineup for the whiskies, we sort of did them relatively in ABV, but we put this last before the peated because it's such a big whiskey. I've had this before. It's so sweet. It's such a big dessert whiskey. So, tell us a bit about Lark. I suppose we should talk about Lark in some capacity.
Yeah, I do. Let's do the quick journey. I'm sure lots of people at home have heard our founding story. So Bill Lark, our founder, first inductee into the Whiskey Hall of Fame in the Southern Hemisphere. Bill Lark, described in a Scottish newspaper as a small gnome-like fellow. I've not let him.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's not. He hates it. So I've never let him go. So
wow. Okay. And now you realise you've told like half of the internet.
I've been telling the story for about a decade now. So anyway, so Lark. So Bill Lark back in sort of about 1990, fishing trip up in the Central Highlands of Tasmania. And he's sort of casting, fly fishing away with his father-in-law Max. And supposedly he catches this fish. Now, I've been fishing with Bill, right? He's a terrible fisherman. So that fish, that trout, I dead set say would be, I suspect suicidal.
So do you think maybe he caught bullshit?
Yeah, well, to be fair, when I started 15 years ago, it was 1 pound. It's currently sitting at 5.5. So every time he tells the story. So
and predates social media and photos.
Yeah, no photos, no Polaroids of that one. So anyway, so he's fishing up the Central Highlands with Max's father-in-law, catches this trout, and they go back to Bothwell Park. If you've ever been to Bothwell, really close to one of our distilleries up there, and beautiful part of the world. And so he takes this fish. Max suggests that we take the fish to Bothwell Park. We'll put it on the barbecue there, and we're going to cook it up there. And tells Bill to go off to the payphone, if anyone remembers what those things are, and call the girls, call Lynn, and have them come up, and they're going to have a picnic in the park. They cook the trout up there, and so agreed, done. And by the time Bill gets back from the payphone, basically Max is pouring him out a Glenfiddich 12. Great whiskies, So Bill's there having a whiskey up in the Central Highlands, and looks to his left and sees like beautiful clean water. Looks to his right and sees like I know it's so
I know it's so
graphic.
I can't help but cringe a little bit.
I know. The story's been told once or twice. I actually got to go to the Bothwell Park again and actually check that there's barley up once. So he looks off to one paddock and sees barley out there, and goes, "Why isn't anyone making whiskey in Tasmania?"
Yep.
Cue sip.
Right. So why isn't anyone making whiskey in Tasmania?
And basically what happened is it had been outlawed in Tasmania previously. So way back in the day, I hope people are tuning in from Sydney. This is your fault. And so I did a tasting in Sydney actually recently. We had a bunch of group. I said, "Is anyone here from Sydney?" And everyone put their hand up. Said it's your fault. It didn't go down. That well. So basically what happened is Tassie was going, like Hobart Colony was really going really well,
right?
But Sydney was starving,
right?
Because they weren't growing so well. But what was happening is in Hobart they were growing barley, having their bread, and all the leftover barley was making beer and whiskey.
Right. Now, I just want to clarify. This is a short version of the story, right?
Yeah.
We are on a timer.
Is it actually a timer?
No. Well, mate, our timer's there.
I said it twice.
Anyway, right. So expedite your story, please.
Happen, but anyway. So basically, what happens is the governor from New South Wales writes to the governor of Tassie.
Yep.
Please send us some grain, and so to deal with that, they outlaw distillation essentially.
Right.
So Bill basically goes to the local politician, has the laws changed, and starts producing whiskey. Now, there is one key little piece of this story that doesn't often get told. So a lot of people, I'm sure, at home will have heard this story. But not everyone knows that at 10 o'clock one night after Bill got his license, he got a call from John Grant from Glenfarclas.
Right.
And so Glenfarclas, John Grant had heard basically that Larker Bill got a distillation license and said, can I help you make good whiskey? And Bill admittedly had no clue what he's doing. He learned from coffee table books, and we've both read coffee table books. They're pretty sketchy. Yeah. So basically,
the ones you read,
I look at the pictures. So basically, we had the Glenfarclas team helping us, and we've just actually released for our 30th anniversary it's just sold out, I think. So a whiskey collaboration with Glenfarclas, which is pretty cool.
Amazing. Yeah, I tried it out.
I was thinking last night.
Yeah, okay.
Natural cask strength. So.
Yeah, up and about. So, and so we just I think the bit that I really wanted to talk about tonight, with so many beautiful people in the room and such a burgeoning industry. I think there's over 85 distilleries now in Tasmania.
Wow.
And the thing that I wanted to talk about was basically the fact that Lark has tried to be a collaborative whiskey distiller to help other people come on, which I think Bill sort of beat into us when I started 15 years ago. That was well until he beat into us. But it didn't really come from us at all. It actually came from Glenfarclas. It came from Scotland. And we're a really global industry, and I'm really excited to celebrate Tas Whiskey Week. But it's also, it's a celebration of the whiskey family overall. It's sort of one chapter of, I guess. So anyway.
It's like you rehearsed this. It's amazing. No, you're saying all these nice things. It's not like you at all.
1 out of 5 times I get this stuff. I haven't sworn yet, so that's pretty good.
I don't think.
The marketing department at home will be like, that's a win.
We've both been well behaved. No, look, but I absolutely get what you mean. It's such a unique industry in the sense that we all get along. We're all good mates. Even recently, some of the Lark people have helped me with some of the things that I've been trying to accomplish, because, don't we make something stupid like a small amount of whiskey compared to Scotland?
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm a massive Hobart whiskey fan as well. So
you're my favourite so far. Just saying.
Anyway,
all right. Tell us now. You've given us the elevator pitch. It's way too long.
Give us the 30-second pitch on the.
All right. What's the whiskey? All right. So. Yep. So, right. I'll give you the really short version, which is extremely long.
Right. So you've got 50 words.
All right. None of them are swear words, though. Right. So basically, this whiskey last year got a 95 at the World Whiskey Awards, which was a bit of a surprise, considering it's the first Kyoto cask ever done on the planet.
How do we pronounce it? I think I've been pronouncing it wrong all this time.
Mate, I have 100% chance that I'm pronouncing it wrong all the time.
I thought it was ch, like ch.
Well, I'm not sure because I'm not Italian, but in
Kyoto?
Right. In Australian, it's definitely Kyoto or Chinoto or something else. All right.
Chinoto,
maybe. Yeah. So basically, Chinoto or Kyoto is Italian bitter cola beverage. And so we collaborated for the first time with a tiny Tasmanian garage producer, and he sort of put this together. We made 3 casks worth, and it came out, sold out really, really quickly. And this is the second year. We've got a version of 49%. We've got a version of 60% when you got here. I love this whiskey. What's not on the label, you may not realise, is all the whiskey in here is peated with Tasmanian peat.
Wow.
So it sort of sits in the background. It's kind of our version of sort of that smoky cola kind of paste. And
you mean smoky cokey?
Smoky cokey, yeah.
Lark's Highland Pocket.
Yeah, so we've got I think we're the only Australian distillery with our own peat bog mining license. So we're actually Australia's smallest mining company. I think we pay royalties to the government for about $8 a year. So go up there and dig our peat. Brown Marsh Bog. So as Bill always says, if you want to come visit the peat bog, then you can come join him for a day on the bog. So, yeah.
And can you say, Chris, how long the cask was seasoned in Chinoto? Is that
Yeah. So the process is insane. It's a terrible process. It's a nightmare. So the first time we did it, we sort of cut up about a ton of citrus and all this. When
you say we, not you, right?
Yeah, obviously. That's the truth. I do none of it. They cut up all the citrus. The cinnamon sticks are smashed with a hammer, for lack of better things, and it all goes into an oven roasted. Takes about a month to do in a normal oven, which I can tell you sucks. Then off into a sugar syrup soaks for about 21 days, extracts then we basically, at the moment, because we haven't got better technology yet, hand wring out all of the citrus so they get the sugar syrup out into casks for a month or two, depending on sort of how they're going. It sort of takes on this oak integration piece, and you can sort of tell when it's right. Empty the sugar syrup out, whiskey goes in, and then usually, actually with this, what our biggest issue is that the Kenoda syrup is so intense that it actually takes on too much. And so this one, we've actually added some extra casks in to help dilute it.
It's very big. It's very rich.
It was
sweet
about
whiskey.
It was about 15.
So
It's about 15 out of 10.
Virgin oak cask that Kenoda went to?
No. Ex whiskey cask. So we're saying, just some of our whiskey casks.
So what do you do with the product that was in the cask to season it? Do you bottle it and drink it, or sell it, or?
No, it just goes into season the next season.
Yeah,
season
so
the
just
next,
roll it through.
Yeah,
So
I get hassled for it a fair bit. So.
Yeah, well, that's where I was working towards. So yeah, no, look, that is lovely. It's such an interesting whiskey, and just from what I remember, so big, rich, sweet.
I get a massive cinnamon hit off it.
Same.
Insane cinnamon, which is so unusual for whiskey. I really enjoy it.
I can exclusively say here live on chat that actually comes from the cinnamon.
I thought you were going to give us something insightful, right?
I never would.
You're just a giant troll.
What I would like to talk about, have I got any time?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't do
We're
it.
going to have a short break after this, so
Are we? Why?
because we'll go to Peter next.
Okay, all right, okay.
Well, then
right.
I can talk for as long as I want. Check the footy scores.
All right.
Now, what I want to talk about is the Tasmanian industry. I also want to talk about what we can do here that you can't do in Scotland and around the world, and what one of the strengths is of the Tasmanian industry, why it's important. Right. So I've been around in this industry for a little while now. So 15 years, over 15 now. Yeah. So long service.
What were you doing before Lark?
Not enough.
Okay, all right.
But I was at university doing a science degree. I am.
And how'd that go for you?
Yeah, I'm a very successful dropout. But I think what we have in Tasmania broadly is an incredibly inclusive culture, and I want to talk about why that is and what happens with this room here with these beautiful people and why that's kind of important, right? So, so basically, Tasmania, if you didn't know this, or Australia, has one of the most innovative whiskey industries on the planet. We're not encumbered by some of the rules that overseas, and what we basically do is we, to a degree, self-regulate, I guess. So which is really, really cool. And why everyone at home's like, why is that important? Why is that important? And
why is that important?
Can you tell it? That's a great question. So going back 15 odd years ago, I used to go to these whiskey tastings with the same sort of 10, 15 blokes, and basically we got the same rhetoric over and over again. Right, the best whiskey is 18 years plus. It's made in Scotland because of the water and the barley, and nowhere else on the planet could make great whiskey. And I sort of went, oh well, I'm from Tasmania, I don't really stand a chance here, do I? So, and you sort of go, well, here's what we're doing, and you go, well, you're young, you don't get an opinion. And on the other side, there were that come to these tastings, you get a 20-year-old female come in, and it was really unpleasant, and it was a really unwelcoming vibe sort of thing. And then Tassie whiskey sort of got recognised. And you went in there and they said 18-year-old had to be Scottish because of the water, and blah 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 blah. We said, well, actually, no. Look, Tassie whiskey's doing pretty well.
It's not bad, right?
Yeah, and then some young people turned up at more tastings and could defend, right? And sort of got a bit more inviting. And this is what innovation does. The more that the industry breaks down the stereotypical thought processes and rituals, the more welcome it is. And so it's, I'll say it here, half of our e-com sales are now female. 50-50.
Yeah, I believe that.
And you go to tastings, 50-50. And over half of our distillation team, female. Yep. It becomes a more welcoming place. And, it's a fun industry to be part of.
Like, yeah.
Because it's like everyone's welcome. And that wasn't how it felt 15 years ago. And that's why Tasmanian whiskey, and that's why innovation is so important. Because we're actually... There's a bit of heckling from back there.
It was 5 minutes.
Don't worry, Dean.
I'm just sort of trying to think how I can wrap this up, like when to interrupt. No, carry on. Keep going. Ignore them.
I'll get you. He actually bought this great whiskey in which he didn't share with you. And there we go. We've all been drinking that back there. That's your punishment. Everyone now knows that you're selfish. Right. So I guess what I wanted to say is that what we have in Tasmania and Australia is really special. It's really unique, and it should be treasured. But we also need to continue to be bold and to be brave with our whiskies. And that's what I see tonight is just this amazing array of whiskies. None of them are the same. Everyone's different, and it's just awesome. And the people back there, if you could flip the screen around, and just like
we can't.
Family.
We tried. We broke it. So
anyway,
absolutely. So, and the thing is, like I always say to people, whiskey is such a subjective thing. There's no right or wrong way to make whiskey. I mean, there is, but we're going to get to Belgrove shortly. So
I love how wrong Peter is. Peter's one of my best mates.
But there's basically everyone has a different idea of their perfect whiskey, and we tend to tie whiskey to experiences like tonight, like doing these events. Tasmanian Whisky Week is great for that. Brings people together, and we just fucking drink whiskey, right? So
that's one. You finally got one. It wasn't me this time.
No, it's all right.
So Chris, Lark at the showcase this Saturday?
Yeah. So Lark at the showcase this Saturday. I won't be there because I've got my son's last game of football, so I won't be there. Or I'm coaching, so if I am there, you'll be like, it's probably not great.
All right.
So we've got Monday night. We've got Winston. We've got a Boilermaker House. We've just released our number 5 Wolf of the Willows collab beer release. That's all sold out now, but if you want to try it, the only place you're going to do that is the Winston.
Right.
On
Is there
Monday.
still tickets available for that?
Yes.
You just rock up and buy a ball, mate.
Yeah, let's go drink.
Oh, right, okay.
Just turn up and drink, I think.
All right, perfect.
And then Thursday night, we've got our slam, so I'll be telling stories at that.
That is
that's
terrible.
going to be disastrous, I'm pretty sure.
I'm not administering the time limit. So.
Yeah.
And are you doing that one?
I'm doing it. We'll see. Everyone will have a beard like this by then. And then on Friday night, we've got the event down at the Yacht Club.
So Meet the Maker.
Meet the Maker. Thank you. Yeah,
one of the favourites.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I'll be there on Friday, hanging out and carrying on like a pork chop. So
all right, perfect, mate. I'm going to cut you off now while you stop talking. Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. No questions from the audience. No one cares what he's got to say.
Yeah, no. Anyone from the mainland, please come down, visit us. There's just the most amazing distilleries all around Tasmania.
Your Bothwell site's phenomenal. I love it out there. Such a beautiful site. So
you can't visit that one, but that's great. Thanks for that.
I can, right?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Go away. Thank you, mate. Thanks for coming along.
Cheers. I'll leave that one there.
No, we don't want it in frame, mate. Get it down.
This party's kicking off, so that's good.
Right. So short intermission.
Short
2-minute intermission, and we'll be back with
2-minute intermission. All right. Okay. Perfect. Are we going to turn off our camera?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Hopefully we haven't lost too many viewers in that 2-minute break. I don't think so. Don't matter by this point.
You lost me for a moment. Where do I have to start my story? 1800s or 1700s?
Just take a page out of Chris's book, and I'm just going to go for a wander, and you just take over, and
Well, once upon a time.
Alrighty. Thank you everybody for sticking it out this far. We know Chris is horribly boring, and you had to endure what he had to say, but it was quite important, and
it was worth the wait for Tom.
It was, yeah. Alrighty. So we have Tom from Furno.
Thank you very much.
Righto. Thanks for coming along.
That's my pleasure. It's good
How
to
you
be
doing?
here. Yeah, good. Good to be back in civilization.
Back in civilization?
Yeah.
Why? Where are you from?
Flinders Island is where
Flinders
I'm from.
Island. Who would have thought?
Far northern Tasmania. If you were flying from Hobart through to Melbourne and you jumped out of the plane halfway along,
Why would you
land
do
on
that?
Flinders Island.
Oh, but you wouldn't.
Because
Right,
that's where we are.
Right. Do you just have like random people just landing on you?
Skydivers just parked right up in front of the distillery. Yeah.
Alrighty. So, I mean, you're Furno, right? Furno Whisky. Furno Distillery.
That's right. Yeah. So
just
basically,
Furno, is it?
Furno Distillery. Yeah.
Yep.
So Flinders Island is where we are, and that's the largest of 52 islands that make up the Furno group.
Wow.
Tiny little island
I didn't
in
know that.
the middle of Bass Strait. It's about 65 kilometres top to bottom and about 35 side to side.
Yep.
And the whole eastern coast of the island is a chain of lagoons that runs from the bottom all the way up to the top.
Yep.
A big sandbar that pulls all the water back in and basically forces the soil that's decomposing down there to form really heavy peat bogs out there.
Right. Yeah.
So in the summertime, when that water recedes a little bit, I get to go out there, bash through the bush, dig up the peat, dry it, and then smoke our barley with it.
Right. Wow. So, how did you get into this? Like, I know you before you went Furno, right? But
yeah. So I've been in the booze industry for about 14, 15 years now. Yeah, long time on both sides of the bar, and then was living in Melbourne for a while, and then came back to Tassie to just this hugely,
booming industry, I guess.
wildly booming whiskey industry. Yeah. So I actually went in to work with Sullivan's Cove at a cellar door roll.
Yep.
And then we was working with them for a few years and went up to Flinders Island for the first time for a crayfish festival, actually. And
Really?
The
Like
first
just-
night, just food, crayfish, just fishing, swimming, all that sort of thing. And I was up there on my first night at a place called Killer Cranky, looking out over the beach and the mountains. And I just happened to bump into this guy who was walking up from the beach. Their hair was wet, they had wetsuits still on, and a big bucket full of crayfish and abalone and Australian salmon and things like that. So, of course, we were staying next door, and we said, hey, what about you guys come over here? And, we'll share our whiskey with you if you share your fish with us. So we ended up, crashing parties together.
Yep.
And it turns out one of these guys was Damien Newton-Brown, and he was sort of bonding over a bit of Sullivan's whiskey at the time, and he said he was in the process of actually building a distillery on Flinders Island. And the whole reason was because of that peat.
So is that fate or dumb luck?
It's serendipity.
Do you have a release called Serendipity?
I don't yet. No.
Well, yeah.
But this one, the one we've got today is actually a really propitious batch for us because it's actually the first.
We're not talking about the whiskey yet. We're still talking about you and
still talking about me.
Yeah, right.
That's all right.
Okay, so
No, we can talk about the whiskey because Chris chewed up all of Tom's time.
all right, okay. So Furno Distillery up on Flinders using local peat.
That's right.
Early days, you were contract distilling through Launceston Distillery.
That's right. Yep.
This whiskey. Now we can talk about the whiskey, right?
Yeah.
So I've just got to set myself so I know what's going on. Is this your distillate? Is this Launceston distillate, or what do we have here? You tell me about it.
This is so Flinders peated bourbon cask. It's sort of like our flagship style. It's the real reason for being for us. So when I moved to the island in September in 2019, I inherited a big empty room, a couple of brand new Bailey stills, and a small handful of barrels that were distilled at Launceston Distillery.
Yep.
So then I got quickly to work at getting that peat, smoking the barley. We were sending it off still, and we still are to Chris at Launceston Distillery to do our fermentation up until we build our new facility on the island at the end of this year. Where we're going to
there just massive logistical issues being on an island?
Hugely so, yeah. It's a tiny place. There's a little plane, about 19 seats, that flies in and out.
That sounds horrifying.
Tassie. Yeah, that's great.
It's absolutely horrifying.
But the only other way to get there is a big old barge that takes about the same time as it takes for the Spirit to get from Hobart, from Devonport to Melbourne.
Right.
So, huge logistical issues. But, we're embracing it, and hopefully we're sort of spending about 30 grand every year just in shipping empty
Right,
IBCs back and forth. So
Yeah.
next year we're actually going to be planting our first crop of barley
Oh, wow.
on the island.
Yeah,
where
right.
we'll be malting, smoking, brewing.
You'll be
and
malting on
distilling.
Flinders?
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that's an incredible feat.
Yeah, well,
And
at
such
the
a
moment,
unique
the
position to be in.
peating process is basically a giant modified box trailer, which has a wedge wire base in the middle of it. So we'll fill that up with a couple of 100 kilos of barley, wet it all down, and it's got a little offset smoker box. So we'll load that up with peat, keep feeding it, and I can do it now for a couple of days in a row.
Yeah.
The first smoker was a tiny little version of that. So this
I love this is just how would people watching in comprehend how backwards this sounds like.
Yeah, and laborious as well. Like it takes weeks to produce a batch. From me going out and getting the peat to the peating process to shipping it to receiving it to distilling it. It's a real process.
So you're doing every part of the process. Like, is there a team there, or are you sort of?
This one was just me. I've now got a team, which is amazing. Yep. Yeah, we've got 2 other people that work for the distillery.
Right.
But for the first 2 years, it was just me. So I set up a little volleyball in the corner and just spoke to it all day, and that was my little Wilson. But
I do see you've aged about 5 years in the last 12 months. So.
Tell me about it.
No, that's incredible. It is such an incredible distillery and opportunity, and what you do there is so unique, right? And this is what makes Tasmanian whiskey great. That's why we all love it. That's why everyone loves it. This expression, so American oak ex-bourbon.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
48%.
Yep.
The first of our peated whiskies, right?
It is the first. After the break, it was peated.
That's right. We had a break. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we've got a really nice sort of transition into peated here, because this one is with 100% Flinders peated malt, but in peating post malting, and in those days with quite a small box, the peat profile is relatively light. So it's sort of like almost a reverse sort of Scotch experience, where it's not heavy on the nose and it's not heavy on the front palate. It's rather big and sweet, caramelly and fudgy right up front. But then as that sugar disappears, and you get all that peat on the back palate. And you're talking about point of
I hate that you said that, because that's all I can think about now.
That's in your mind now.
The Paris suggestion is like terrible.
So talking about sort of point of difference, the peat that we have itself, we're really lucky in it's right by the coast, so it's not moss. It's it's not sort of inland stuff. It's Tasmanian coastal vegetation that's breaking down into it. So it's like tea trees, melaleucas, sphagnum moss, a little bit of wallaby shit, a little bit of sort of succulent herbs and things like that. So it's really unique. When we're burning it, when we're smoking this barley, it's almost sort of like an Aussie bushfire smell. Sorry if that's triggering for anybody, but that lovely smell.
I don't think it was triggering until you said.
Sort of eucalypty, mentholy, and for us, it's sort of manifested in this really earthy, really aromatic finish, which, although it's not a big smash you in the face smoke on it, it is a really sort of complex spirit, which just with the gentle nature of those Heavens Hill bourbon casks is what these ones were matured in. So these were 13 20-litre casks for just over 2 years. And then in small format barrels, I really like to get a few, whack them together, put them in a stainless steel container with a mesh top, and just aerate them for about 2 weeks, stir them every day, and then do really slow dilutions through that. And I've put whiskey from 20-litre barrels straight into a bottle before, and it's intense. It's just intense. So
they make some pretty big whiskeys. Those 20s,
for sure. Yeah.
This is like incredible. Like, it's got that really earthy undertone, and like so sweet though. It's like so chewy sweet, like cake. Any thoughts, Mark? What are you thinking? You've been oddly quiet tonight. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm just enjoying the whiskey here.
We should just frame you a little bit more that way. So that
I've always been a big fan of Launceston Distillate, so moving into the Furno range has been a real treat from that starting point. The local peat element is a great story, and as Tom's displayed tonight, if you live near the sea, you're a fan of the movie Life Aquatic, an orange beanie is an absolute must. So,
right. I mean,
it's just so later on, once I've finished the whole tasting, my partner can still find me. But I'm passed out in Moona somewhere. It's my safety beanie.
You could just probably get an air tag now or something.
Right.
No, mate, that's absolutely incredible. What was the decision to cut it back to 48? I would have loved to have tried this higher, because it's so gentle as it is. It's got that earthy gentleness. It's so sweet.
Right. Well, especially with 20-litre casks, they can really go either way, I've found. And so with every batch, I always just judge it on its own merit. And during that aeration phase, line up a whole string of dilutions from 40% up the way to cask strength and about sort of 2% increments.
Yep.
And then just go through a process over a couple of weeks of just taste it again, and just start eliminating ones that I don't like.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I just kept doing that until I found the one that I liked the most, and that just happened to be 48%. No real sort of direction towards that. It's just,
But look, I think that's the best thing about it. Like, you're making whiskey that you enjoy and you share it with people, and you don't always have to have a solid rationale behind something you do. You're just making whiskey that you enjoy. And then
but cask strength is definitely on the cards for us in the future. The release that we have just brought out as an unpeated American Oak X Bourbon was a bit lower at 43%. Playing around with something a bit lighter and a bit softer, and then we'll hit the other end of the spectrum as they come up. We've got that online. Actually, I've got a little bottle of it tucked away somewhere.
Okay, perfect. This one, is this available?
So this is actually the last of my first island batch. So there were 400 bottles in total, and the rest of it has been pulled offline, except we have tucked a dozen aside for Tasmanian Whisky virtual tasting members only.
Oh, wow, okay.
How did we go with that link, Mark?
It's online at the moment. I don't know if people can click on it, but
there's no chance they will. No, Mark, sorry, but that's terrible.
Well, look, we've got a link up anyway, and if that doesn't work for you, just get in touch with us, and we'll make sure to get you a bottle.
But this is going pretty wide, so even people that don't have a pack might be able to tune in and buy a bottle. You okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Otherwise, we're going to need like a secret word.
Look, there's a dozen of them there, so it's first come, first serve.
Perfect.
The rest of them we've just kept aside for our events during Tas Whisky Week.
There's probably only 11 after I buy one. So.
Okay, cool.
You only buy one.
And 10? 29?
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great. What else do you have lined up for Whiskey Week?
I've massively oversold myself, actually, for Whiskey Week. We don't get off the island too often, so it's just the best opportunity for us to do what we're not able to do, which is get in front of the customers, mix up with the other distillers and colleagues in the industry.
So how long are you on the mainland for?
About a week and a half.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. You're gonna be okay with that?
Look, I was pretty overwhelmed to start off with, but I got my first cheeseburger, and then I was like, it's going to be all right. Yeah.
So Tom's doing Tandy's in Launceston on Tuesday night.
Not quite, no. We actually have got our own event in Lonnie on Tuesday night. Yes, we're starting off at St. John's Craft Beer Bar in Lonnie. So we sent an ex-peated bourbon cask to Van Diemen Brewery in Evandale, and they've been aging a Belgian double in it for about a year. And that's now just been emptied and kegged, and that will be on pour at St. John's in Lonnie. And we're going to be bringing our whiskey and doing big Bernie. And then we're going to Bernie on the Wednesday for the community brewing Boilermaker night. And then big drive from Bernie down to Kalara on Thursday for the dinner with Annalise Perry, which will be very delicious. I'm excited for that. Unfortunately, sold out. And then Friday night to just go and hit the bars in Hobart, and then Saturday for the showcase, and then Sunday for the farm.
So you might not make the showcase. Is that what you're saying? Like depends on Friday night.
I'll always make it. I'm an old bartender from way back. I know how to back it up.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Any questions from the virtual audience? Any questions from the physical audience? No, they all look. They've been really controlled while you've been here. So congratulations. I think you tamed the beast of the room.
Excellent.
Alrighty, you can bugger off now.
Thank you very much. Thanks everybody.
Thank you for coming along. Thank you for sharing with us. All right, here we go.
He's awake. He's awake.
Hey mate, how you doing?
Just getting there.
Well, you've been sitting over there having a few drams. You okay? You driving tonight? That was a question.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. No, I'm all good. No. I've got a driver here. I've got Luca. Luca's come all the way from Italy to look after me. So.
All right, perfect. For those that don't know, beside me I have Mr. William McHenry. William or Bill? William, right?
Jonathan or John?
Whatever you want, mate. I rang a supplier the other day. He answered the phone by calling me Big Johnny.
There you go.
Yeah, so quite interesting to go there. Anyway, mate, thank you so much for coming along.
Thanks.
Sharing your delicious nectar with us. Tell us a little bit about your distillery, what you do, anything. Like, just don't be as long as Chris, but give us a bit of an elevator pitch.
Okay. We're the southernmost whiskey distillery down at Port Arthur. So we set the distillery up there 12 years ago, looking for water. So we've got springs on the property, and really cool, moist maritime environment. And so we've been producing whiskey all that time. We don't release a lot of whiskey because we've actually been waiting to get most of our whiskey up to 10 and 12-year-old. And next year we'll be releasing our 10 and 12-year-old series, and we'll basically put to bed all of our younger stuff.
So 10 and 12-year-old whiskey maturing mainly in full format casks, or
all 200, 300 litre barrels.
Yep. So that's going to be exciting. I've always been a fan of your whiskey. It's always just such a gentle distiller, gentle whiskey. Like, always been one of my favourites. I mean, I've probably said that to everybody that's come up here, but I like the bottle as well. So what do we have here tonight?
So
speaking of full format casks,
right?
Like,
So speaking of full format casks, we've got a 20 litre blood tub.
So what's a blood tub?
20 litre. Actually, I love the story behind a blood tub. So blood tub's a little 20 litres. It's for most people like me, it's about the heaviest.
Look at this.
Oh, sorry. It's about the heaviest barrel you can actually literally carry and gift to friends and family or blood relatives.
Yeah, right.
A blood tub for you is probably a 50 litre, but a blood tub for me is a 20 litre.
Yep.
So it comes from a sort of the act of gifting blood relatives. So we trying out some new malt with this. This is actually Scottish malt from the Port Gordon malting house on the sort of loosely the east coast of Scotland. And so we brewed this up and we put this into a barrel just under 2 years ago. So this is not available. This is experimental.
Oh, so this is not even whiskey?
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah, right. Yeah. So you realise it's Tasmanian Whisky Week, though, not Tasmanian New Make Week. I'm a little bit disappointed because it's not bad.
Well, what I wanted to do was I wanted the audience to actually see all the experiments we're doing. So to see really behind the scenes and to actually, share the story with us right at the beginning, not at the end.
Right. Okay.
That's better.
Yeah, it's okay. It's you've thrown me a curveball now. All right. So we have a 20 litre French oak.
Yep. Blood tub. Scottish peated barley, around 40 part per million phenols in there. It's the most heavily peated grain we can get at the moment out of Scotland. We're about to take a few tonne out of New Zealand, again, just to experiment and see whether we like it or not. And we'll experiment in 20 litres until we sort of work out whether we like the French oak or the American oak. I'm just trying this now, actually, for the first time, and I think we might immediately go to American oak.
Confident in your product. Look, I don't get a lot of the spice of a French oak I would have expected.
Yeah. It's not as heavily peated as I thought it would be.
It's a really, really grassy, earthy peat to me. Quite nice, quite easy to sip away at 45, but unavailable.
Mm-mm. Not available. So this is just a special
when will
progress
this be
release.
Available?
Another 8 years.
In a 20 litre cask?
No.
I was going to say, that's going to be a woody, chewy mess. 10 years in a 20.
So from here, all of our spirit will go into 200s and 300s. So we now currently don't fill hundreds or anything smaller. We only spill 200 litres.
Yep.
So ultimately, you won't be able to get anything smaller than 200 litre from us.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's just, that's our shtick. That's what we want to.
And I mean, you're taking the time with your whiskey. You want the age statement, 10, 12-year-old whiskey, because from what I understand, your gin is phenomenal.
Thank you.
It goes well, and you've been producing gin for quite a while as well. We won't go into too much detail. It's not Tasmanian Gin Week, but
we do an aged gin though in a whiskey barrel.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Do you have any?
Not here.
No. I know.
Pretty good, actually. I like it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's all right. What are you thinking, Mark?
Yeah. Well, Bill will be featuring this on Monday night.
I mean, what do you think of the whiskey?
Yeah. And hopefully Monday night, I believe version's cask strength. Not
Look,
45%.
I'm learning a lot about Whiskey Week this week tonight. So if it's cask strength, it's cask strength. I believe you.
So it'll be interesting to compare the two. That's for sure. Yeah.
But people won't be able to compare unless they actually come to the event,
well,
right?
no, that's sold out as well. But if the lucky 40 people who got a ticket will be able to compare.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I just thought doing basically for the audience, we've got Scotland versus Ireland versus Tasmania. So I just thought it'd be nice to have some Scottish barley brewed, distilled in Tasmania up against Scottish whiskey. Just
Fantastic.
to see what the differences are, the terroir, the climate, the people, the place, what changes that brings to the spirit. So
it opens up a lot in the glass as well, just letting it sit for a while.
Yeah. My first impressions, are certainly very different from what I'm getting now.
Is this the first time you've tried it?
Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, that's a ballsy move.
Yeah, well, I knew it wasn't going to be for sale, so I can do anything I want. So, no risk.
All right.
So
So Monday night, obviously, William, we'll see you at the New Sydney. That's a sold out event.
You're on one step too fast. Sunday night, folks.
Oh, Sunday.
What's going on
got
Sunday?
Whiskey in the Stars.
Ah, yes.
So we've got
Whereabouts
Tom
is that?
Cruise. We've got no, we haven't.
At the
We've got
distillery.
basically we've got an astronomy at the distillery. So we've got a whole bunch of telescopes. We've got a chef coming in to cook a 3-course meal. We've got speakers on astronomy and so forth. And we're going to redraw the night sky. So instead of Orion and the saucepan, you're going to get a Glencairn glass. You're going to get a bottle of whiskey. So you're going to.
And tickets available?
No, sold out.
Sold out.
Next year, tickets are
I think
available.
it's such a beautiful space down there.
It is, yeah. So we have dark sky down there. So literally no lights, no interference from street lights and house lights. So little pollution. So
Sunday
perfect.
night sold out.
Sunday
Monday
night-
night sold out.
Yep.
What other nights?
Tuesday night we're doing a Boilermakers night. So I think we've got our beer there. So
You have. Yeah, that gold bar. And that's sold out.
that's
as
pretty
well.
good. I like the beer.
So that's sold out,
Sold
right?
out. So all three so far, McHenry sold out.
Okay.
I see it
Saturday?
a theme here.
Yeah.
Well, no.
absolutely.
So come down to the distillery. So we do tours and tastings
Great.
every day of the week. We're open 11 till 4. You can come and see the process. You can come and look in our vault. We've got an underground whiskey vault where we mature a lot of our stuff. So you can really,
And one of the few Tassie distilleries where the ABV reduces.
Yeah. So what's intrinsically different from us is because it's so cool and moist, high humidity. When we put our whiskey in the barrel, it essentially mirrors the process you'll see in Scotland, where the ABV goes from high slowly down to low. Because the air is so humid, it's essentially the alcohol that wants to escape out of the barrel, rather than the opposite, where you get sort of hot, dry, or sort of drier environments where it's essentially the water wanting to escape, and the ABV, relatively speaking, going up. So we got into a bit of we got bullied online by someone because we said Tasmania was cool and moist, and it is. And we looked up the stats, and we're about exactly the same sort of meteorological conditions as Ireland. So really cool, moist, those big maritime sort of storms pushing in over the mountain where we are. So.
And then back for the showcase on Saturday.
Apparently.
And you'll be there? Someone will be there.
Yeah, no, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there. And then I think something on Sunday.
Oh, and you're the Hobart Brew Company for the Comedy and Drams on Sunday.
Kate?
I think Kate's stuck down. So just smile and nod. Smile and nod, yeah.
Well, that's great.
So, so we get him out. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, look, that was just a look-see into the stuff we're doing. That's all it was.
Are you going to leave this bottle here?
That's not it. That was just there as a prop. So that's going.
So what is that?
That's our current... No, that's I don't know.
All right. Well, no questions from the virtual audience. No questions from the riffraff here. Thank you, mate, for coming along. Pleasure as usual. Oh, dear. All right. Here we go. All right. Here we go. All right. Let's get serious.
Excuse me, I just had a little bit of something else before we go.
All right.
Hey.
Gentlemen, how you going?
Good, Johnny.
Hi to all
Not
the
bad.
21 people out there who are watching us.
Excuse me, mate. All righty. So,
Better pour some whiskey for you all lads.
all righty. Thank you, everybody at home who is still tuned in. You can now log off if you wish. No, gentlemen. All right. So, all right. Here we go. We've got a duo here.
Marcos Machamos, you're all good over there?
I've got my sample.
All right. Who are you? What do you do? What are you doing in my distillery?
Briggsy. I am Briggsy, and this is my my partner in crime, Spilsy.
Briggsy and Spilsy.
First of all, Johnny, thank you for allowing us into your establishment tonight.
I didn't have a choice, but that's all right.
Valid. We're from up the east coast of Tasmania. We're up at Ironhouse Brewery Distillery.
Ironhouse Brewery Distillery.
And Vineyard. And Vineyards.
Yeah.
Don't forget we make wine too.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So, we've tried to capture everything, booziness in what we do up there. Right. But we like to classify ourselves as a brewery growing up as far as distilling's concerned. Right. So started distilling in 2015. And
all right, so let's back up a bit, though. So when did you start the brewery? Like, what made you decide to do this?
The place is actually 15 years old now, isn't it? Like the brewery itself.
Brewery started in 2007, November 2007. So we've had our first official launch of beer then. Mm-hmm. And it's a family-owned business. It's an accommodation venue. And we thought, well, here we are in the middle of the East Coast. There's not much else to do on the East Coast. So let's build a brewery. So that's exactly what we did.
We are kind of in the middle of nowhere too. So
yeah.
Well, I've not been up there yet, but I've heard positive things.
In what?
The space. Like,
not the people.
No, definitely not the people.
Valid.
I'd like to think the people are pretty bloody good.
All right.
So 15-year-old brewery turned distillery.
Distillery.
Where's the vineyard come into play?
So the vineyard got planted out in 2010, so not far from the brewing side of things. And what the vineyards actually enabled us to do is actually draw on the grapes and what we use to make our neutral spirit for all other things distilling wise. But as I said, we're a brewery that's grown up to be a distillery now, and really that's our passion, our love. Not that beer's not, but
I guess
here we are.
It's a good opportunity, right? Like, you get to make products that you love. You love beer, you love wine. It sounds like you love anything with anything fermented.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're alcohol enthusiasts, for lack of a better way of putting it. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. And we are in the middle of nowhere, so we do have to actually make our own love. For lack of a better way of putting it. It sounds like we're making a big joke about it, but we do really enjoy what we do, and the fact that we are where we are.
Oh, look, I think anyone that's met you guys or seen you guys present, like there's so much of the character and heart that comes out of it. Like, you can't put that stuff on. You got to push your lark out of frame when you guys are on, otherwise people might get confused.
What's that about?
I was trying to steal a bottle of lark that was sitting there just quietly.
All right. Beautiful. Perfect. So you guys did your first release, or 2019, your first release whiskey, was it 2019?
Correct.
It was. Correct. Yeah, it was 2019, a couple of years ago now.
Yep,
we
released
three.
Yeah, we had three expressions back in 2019.
That's right. Bourbon, a port, and a sherry.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Since then, we've had we've done a Pinot finish release.
Yep.
But more importantly, what we're about to showcase for you guys tonight is a peated whiskey, and we didn't know what we were venturing into this peated world. Personally, I'm not a massive peated follower. Obviously, everyone's accustomed to the Rogues of the world, and if you're that way inclined to go towards the Octomore, so to have both of those experiences, you've got a little bit of trepidation about going into that space. The fact that it is such a small space, you've got local distillers here that have pioneered the way with the larks and all the rest of it. But we put our toe in the water, and we've basically created this expression around a UK, an English malt, peated malt, being a Baird's malt, and we've used the Tasmanian. Tasmanian base malt, our Pacific Pilsner malt, as our base malt to it as well. So,
can somebody bring me a beer?
60% of what you're drinking here today, guys, is the Baird's peated, along with the Tasmanian base malt. So, I'll probably throw to Spilsy here to have a little bit more about the flavour profile.
I have to say, I do really enjoy this. I did have the opportunity to have a couple of drams of it last night.
We did have a couple of drams last night, John. And we actually started the night off with this dram by memory.
Was
You
that before or after the tequila?
I was not a party to the tequila. That happened before
Look,
or after. But it was really good to hear your feedback because obviously I consider both of you guys peers in the industry and you loved it. Unfortunately, we had to have about 7 or 8, possibly 9 drams afterwards. It was a lovely night. Oh, thank you. Who brought me a boat, you cheeky bastard? Still going to drink it, but
all right.
Good luck.
Anyway, so tell us about this whiskey then.
So, this whiskey for my flavour profile, I will not lie, and I don't often put it to people. Up until a couple of years ago, despised peated whiskies. I actually thought they were the most disgusting thing. I'm an ex-smoker, of all things, back in the day, and I could not even come towards anything that had slight of peated. The first time I even slightly thought one was good was a mate of mine at a 50th birthday party. His parents bought him like a $700 bottle of I think it was Johnny Walker Gold or Johnny Walker Blue, and that beautiful velvet thing. And we opened it up thinking this was going to be amazing. And then we tried it and it tasted like complete ass. Like seriously, it tasted like cigars and ashtrays.
Don't hold back, mate. Tell us how you really feel.
No, it did. So I was just put off from then on. But I've been lucky enough to be amongst a bunch of really good distillers around this state, and we've got some people that have come up with some pretty good peated whiskies over the time, and my palate's starting to come back towards it. Briggsy came up with this wonderful idea a little while ago about getting in some peat or some peated barley from England. Most people get it in from a different part of the UK, but we went with Beds. Don't know how it's pronounced. And
you said ass before, so honestly, you can't go much wrong from that. So,
is ass a swears? I don't think it is. Anyway, long story short, cutting it back, we decided to come up with one because we did have a bit of a love for peated whiskies, and we wanted to see what we could come up with, especially with the different barrels we have downstairs. Because where we have our stuff housed downstairs, it's right next to the ocean. A lot of people in Tasmania have a lot of variance with temperature when it comes to where they house their barrels, but we really don't. We're literally right on the ocean. So it doesn't change a lot. The only thing we really get is a shitload of sea air coming in and, looking after it. So we thought, well, let's see what happens, a little bit like what they have up in the old hills where they used to come up right next to the ocean back in, the old country. So we brought some in, and you should have smelled the brew distillery that day. It was amazing. Like cigars and butter and just, oh man, it was so good. We're all walking around literally like, we were toasty that day, just smelling it. So it's gone on from there. We were trying it throughout the last couple of years, but we weren't sure where it was going because I used the word with you, nepotism, last night. Because everybody loves their own shit. They love what they're creating because that's what they taste all the time. Yeah, we're doing good. Everybody loves their own lasagna until they bring their friends around. They're all like, That's what I'm talking about. So it just went from there. We brought a few people in, some peers and some friends, and we tried it out. And this is the one we decided was pretty good.
I don't want to insult you both, but
please do.
I think this is probably one of my favourite Ironhouse whiskies I've had.
Okay, that's not insulting. That's a good thing. So
just like
what if it's the worst one he likes out of all the rest of it? That could be insulting.
No, it's just because I know you guys do a lot of unpeated whiskey, right?
Guys,
no. This is serious business, mate.
Okay, sorry.
What the hell, man? I'm sorry. Jesus.
Have a beer. Shut the fuck up. First swears of the whole stream. Sorry, it was me. Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah, I dropped it earlier. No, look, I didn't know what to expect going into this. I tried it last week and I was like, wow, this is actually pretty fucking good. Oh, you hate the word actually.
We didn't know what we were going to come up with either.
Are you making more of it, or is this...
We've got more down at the moment, Johnny.
Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah, we do.
All right.
This has been aged in a bourbon cask.
Yep.
So We've got a few other casks that are sitting in that aren't bourbon, so let's just say that. And it's just a time relevant thing, as you can well appreciate, Johnny. So
patient game.
This was certainly the pick of the cask that we found. And
so is this single cask or
single cask?
Single cask. It's literally straight out of the barrel. Like, don't get me wrong, we did try it down through the spectrum. I think we went down to what was it, 40%?
Yeah, just above 40%.
And it's virtually straight out of the cask is the best point that we found it. It just had still.
So this is natural cask strength.
Oh, give or take whatever the spirits take away.
So I mean, I know we've probably actually killed a few bottles. So do you have any of this left, or have we like?
Maybe 12. No. So, we did kill a bottle last night by accident, and you can blame Angel. But, long
you
story.
rock up at a whiskey event with Mark and myself and Christy, like, you know what's going to happen.
I did get led astray, I won't lie, but, some of us went for a 10K run this morning, and other people slept in after 10 o'clock.
I drove back. Oh, you drove back as well.
We've specifically held it back, Johnny, for the whiskey. Whiskey week. So we did a bit of a pre-sale. There are bottles left. So if anyone wants to get online, ironhouse.com.au, they will find the they'll find the whiskey online. So.
We'll be at the showcase on
Sunday. The main reason we kept it till now, because it was ready a little while ago, we won't lie, is because we want to do something special for this event. This event is probably the biggest Tas whiskey event they've had. There's so many new people coming in them, that they've never been involved in it before. It's probably going to be the biggest year when it comes to it. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the future in the freaking world we live in. But we wanted to keep it as something special. I think a lot of people do try and do that now too. We all, as whiskey distillers, want to just bring that one little thing that just makes people go, damn.
And you want to share it with people that really are going to appreciate
it's like that. It's like that love. It's not just for the punters. It's for us crew too. We're all like, holy shit, man, you brought that? Damn. It's that sort of thing that we all love. And it's one of the reasons I think why we still do it. It's because it's not just because. We're doing it. We don't just do this for the work and for the money or anything like. Because honestly, there's no money. There's no money in this game, unless Chris. But other than that, there's no money in the game. But he is the best looking bloke amongst us, though.
So, Spirity, Tuesday night.
Sorry, right. I'll bring it back in. I have had a lot to drink. I apologise. So we're involved in a lot of events this week. Tuesday night, Tandy's in Launceston.
Tickets still available.
That's a comedy night. We have Chris Franklin coming along to that one. And there will be drams, a plenty, and a whole bunch of other distillers.
And you'll be pouring this?
I will be pouring that. Then I have that event which we've spoken about, knowing Bernie. There's the Communion Boilermaker night, which I'm a little bit worried about because this is like 60%, and if they're going to add beer to that,
drink them separately.
Hey, I'm just riding that horse. What happens and where it goes has got nothing to do with me. The Thursday night we have this awesome event at a little place called the Keppel in Launceston, where yours truly is apparently going to be on the microphone all night long. And it's going to be like a whiskey dating affair.
Wow.
Make the Maker Launceston tickets still available.
Correct. Thank you. And then I think we are at...
Wait, is it actually going to be like a dating thing, or you're just going to use it as a dating thing?
It's going to be like a dating thing. I think Bill's going to be there, and as you can tell, Bill was so hot right now.
You swipe right for Spilsy. Swipe left for others.
But, you got to get in early for Bill. He might be asleep after 9 o'clock. Sorry, Bill. Sorry. Love you, brother. Love you. And then after that, then we got the showcase. And then I think we're all going to wrap all this up, and hopefully everybody that's in the industry and everything else is going to come down to Hobart Brewing Company on Sunday, where there are more comedians, more drams, and this ugly mug talking about bullshit most of the day.
Right. So just like meeting you generally, just in front of a microphone.
Yeah, because I need a microphone because I'm really quiet.
I love there's so much toasted cereal comes through in that. Like that.
No, just toasted.
Yeah.
No, seriously though, guys, this is super limited release. If you want to get it,
I do really enjoy this.
It is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's only 150 bottles of it. We have pre-sold quite a few. So if anyone is enjoying what they're tasting right now, certainly jump online. I don't want to sound like a steak knife salesman, but that's where it's at. So.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly would encourage people to get online and grab this bottle. Definitely a first for you guys with a peated angle, and hopefully not last because
no,
we're hoping it won't be. We do have a few things in the barrel that
I do hope to get up there soon.
Probably nobody said this to you guys tonight, and I just want to point it out before this stream ends. Thank you so much, guys, John, Mark, for doing this.
Yeah.
You guys do so much for the industry. You don't often get lauded for it, but you should be. You're right up there, and you've probably grown it a lot. And I have had a lot of whiskey, so I'll wake up tomorrow and regret every decision I've made, lad. But no, seriously, you guys should. Can we at least get a hand for these guys over here? And for the 18 people out there, we love you.
You lost people.
Now
mate. You lost.
Yeah, I can see you don't have pants on. Put them back on.
All right, so
that's better.
Thank you, guys.
Your mother can see you.
Thank you, guys, for coming along. I think now let's. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Good, mate. Thank you. All righty. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Here we go. How you doing?
All right. Lucky last. Oh, no. Let's just get this Bogues draft down a shot. Oh, mate. How are you doing?
Oh, dear, I don't know whether it's worrying to go on first or last.
I know. You I actually purposely put you last. So, alrighty. For those still at home, tuning in now or going to tune in after we go live, it'll be available on our channels anyway. With us, we have Mr. Peter Bignell from Belgrove. Look, mate, I sort of sledged a little bit before, but I do absolutely love what you do up there because it's such a unique product you are making. So, who are you? What do you do? What are you doing here?
Yep.
How are you?
Yep, no, I'm very well. Yeah, just trying to reserve myself to be the end. So, and following on that last slide, it's going to be a bit.
Yeah, we did actually lose some viewers, so it's all right though. Other people will catch up.
Look, my whiskey is different. Now, I just love doing things differently. Someone said to me today, I would just get bored making malt whiskey, and someone said today, malt whiskey is like painting a wall. And then when you finish, you paint it again. And the next day, you paint it again. I like mixing it up, doing all sorts of different things. I get bored. I started out life really as a scientist. I went to university, did a lot of science, school science, never did any art. But in recent years, I've discovered I'm actually an artist. So a mixture of science and art. And I love being creative. And creative people apparently aren't organised. So, in fact, when I turned up here tonight, I wasn't sure whether I was doing oat whiskey.
Well, mate, to be fair, we put you last as well because I was so sure you were going to be late.
No, I was early.
You surpassed every expectation.
Yes.
And I think you were one of the first here. So, congratulations. No, look, for those who don't know, Belgrove Distillery is such a unique space. It's terrifying, but it's unique and it's beautiful. So, I think the first time I come out there was the reason I sort of slung a bit of shit earlier, you make such jarring whiskies, right? Not everything you make, but you do sort of push the envelope of what you're making, which is amazing. And I love it.
I just love being creative. And I really got into whiskey many years ago. I didn't even like whiskey. I used to mix it with dry ginger. That's how I used to drink it.
Yeah.
And one day someone gave me a leg of Ullen, smoky whiskey. And that's it. I've never mixed anything whiskey since then. And I just love that smoke. Most of the whiskies I make aren't smoked, but every now and again when I do a smoked whiskey, I do something very, very different. So I've got a Bogan Burnout, which I think is possibly the most peatiest whiskey in the world.
Every time I do an event and you're there and some person brings me up a random dram, drink this, I'm like, I know that that's bogan burnout. They're just trying to trigger me.
From 2 meters away.
Yeah.
It's the other side of the room.
Yeah.
The next room over, you can smell it. Yeah.
I think the first time you gave it to me, though, I was like, yeah, it's actually not too bad. Like, I just had to, like, just a little stab, you know, like, it's not that bad. So, yeah, absolutely. You do jarring whiskies, you do different stuff. What do we have here?
Yeah, so like I love the smoky whiskies, and we put the smokies on late, but this is not nearly as smoky as any other whiskies. I usually make the smoky ones, but I got a call on the phone from somebody who said, look, we got a celebrity who wants to come down to Tasmania and do a story, and we want you to give him a dirty job. And I didn't know who it was, and I thought, I know. A couple of years ago, I made a whiskey with sheep shit, burning sheep shit instead of
because
peat.
you do your own like peat smoking, right?
Yes, yeah, I do my own peat smoking.
In a contraption that I can only describe as an occupational hazard. It's an old tumble dryer.
Yeah, it's an old an industrial tumble dryer, and I burn peat. In fact, the peat that I burn regularly, the normal peated whiskies I make is from my brother's farm up the northeast coast at Tasmania Waterhouse, and like the King Island, it was the Furno peat, I think. Yeah, it was mainly tea tree, or the New Zealanders call it manuka, but it's the main vegetation is manuka or peat, the leaves and the bark off the trees, and it slowly breaks down in this swampy sort of ground, and I burn that. But this one, when these guys said they wanted a dirty job, I thought, well, I've done it before, and actually, to tell you the truth, I don't know why I came across the idea. I think it's possibly because I'd heard that in Iceland there's a floki whiskey that they burn their sheep dung and to make the smoky whiskey.
Right. Really?
I don't quite remember that was.
I hope not. I thought you were the first. I thought this was
I wasn't the first.
Wow, that's disappointing.
I've had the floki. They had it in destination cellars.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
No, I mean, but yours is far better, right? So.
According to Jim Murray, anyway. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, I've got the draft, the spent grains. We feed it to the sheep, and it goes through their guts. Their guts is very acidic, low oxygen, which is very similar to a peat swamp environment. And they pop it out in a couple of days instead of a couple of 100 years in a peat swamp. Yep. And when it dries underneath the shearing shed, we get it and we burn it. So when the celebrity, I didn't know who it was, I said, yes, I've got a dirty job for him. So when I eventually found out it was actually Gordon Ramsay. Mm-hmm. So when Gordon turned up, I gave him a shovel and a wheelbarrow and a pile of shit under the shearing shed. So we got a swear word here, haven't we? So third one for the night.
Yeah, no,
that's
right.
I did hear holy shit mentioned earlier.
Well, I mean,
talking to me.
Yeah,
yes, about mine. Yes.
Yeah. Holy shit! You can't avoid it, right?
No.
So he shoveled the shit.
So Gordon shoveled the shit into a barrow, and then we tipped it into my peat burner, which is made out of a couple of old gas bottles, and burnt the peat, and the smoke comes out this pipe and into the tumble dryer. So the green malt, because I do my own malting, about 20% of the grain in the whiskey is malted, and the other 80% is not malted, which is quite similar to Irish whiskies, and Belgrave whiskey is really taking off in Ireland recently. So it's the 20% of it is smoked. So the sheep shit smoke goes in, just the smoke, not the shit.
Yes,
goes into the tumble dryer. The wet grain tumbles around, and the smoke sticks onto the grain.
I mean, you cannot argue this is one of the most unique whiskies. Probably the most unique whiskey in Tasmania.
It's definitely.
Oh, in Tasmania, yeah.
Australia, the world.
Yes.
Look, I'm trying to be humble for you. You're a humble man.
Yeah.
And Peter is a humble man. Like, he's an amazing artist.
How can we see this? Can we on the camera or not? Don't know. Anyway, it's called Holy Shit Rye Whiskey.
Holy Shit, Belgrave.
Yeah,
Holy
this
Shit.
is actually, I think it's the third release we've done on Holy Shit, but it's the one that actually, little label on the back there that said, big thank you to Gordon Ramsay for shoveling the shit. Watch on Uncharted, Season 2, Episode 1. So if you want to watch the episode.
I have to say, mate, new bottles as well.
New bottles,
absolutely amazing. Like, you've done such a good job. Such a unique whiskey. You haven't even poured yourself one. There's some up there on the bar if you want to get into it. Like,
I've cracked the wax on this one. So.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't want to crack it, right? Like, really crack somebody else's whiskey.
There you go.
And at what ABV are we looking at? 57.8?
No, 46.
46?
Yeah. So right. It is to sort of try and spread the story further about, because I had a huge demand for it. When this program went to air, my website got crashed from mainly Americans wanting to buy this stuff. And so I had to try and spread it out a bit. There were 2 100-litre barrels, malt whiskey barrels.
Yep.
And just to spread it a little bit further, we diluted a bit more to go a bit further. But also, it's got a little bit of malt whiskey in it.
Yep.
I've got quite a few Nant barrels from the investors that we brand under Remnant Whisky Company.
Yes.
And there was a little bit of leftovers from a lot of the sample bottles that we had, so I put that in here to spread it a bit for, sweeten it up a little bit more, because it is quite young. It's not much more than 2 years old. It's a little bit over 2 years old, but so I put some of this very much older, what's basically Nant whiskey in it, or Remnant whiskey. Not allowed to call it Nant, but Remnant.
What's crazy is that even for rye whiskey, it doesn't have that spice, like rye spice. Your whiskey's normally, I'm very sensitive to rye, and I pick up a lot of spearmint. I'm not getting it on this.
I think what Peter just explains that. That's why it's not as
softened up a bit.
Yeah, but the smoke's very definitely there from the burning the sheep dung, and there's a little bit of oak whiskey in there too, so that sweetened it up yet again. But I just fiddled about with it. Because it was so young, I thought, no, I've got to put something else in there to get rid of that youthfulness, and certainly that Remnant dregs samples went in there, and they softened it up, and then the bit of oat in there, and that got rid of that youngness.
Rye whiskey, Peter, it really is a mixed grain sort of.
It is, but rye whiskey
predominantly rye.
It's way over 50% rye. Yes, no, there's probably only 10% of mixture of oat and malt whiskey in there.
And do you have this available for sale, or this is gone?
Oh yes. No, there were, I don't know, 450 bottles of it, I think. And
available on your website.
Yes, plenty of it there still.
Yep, perfect.
And you're doing some Tas Whisky Week events in the week coming up as well?
Yes. I've got on Thursday night we've got Boodle Beasley. We've got
the story slam.
Story.
So, what story will you tell there?
Oh goodness, I'll make it up on the night.
I think that's just about sold out, that one.
Okay. Well,
Friday night you've got the dinner.
We've got the dinner on Friday night, then a spirit showcase on the Saturday.
What's the Friday night dinner?
The Friday night, the Italian.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yep.
I don't know if that's sold out.
Tickets
Is it
available for that one as well?
Right.
Yep. So that'd be great.
Yeah, perfect. And then of course Saturday Spirit Showcase. Always a blast. Always a mess.
Yep. So I'll have a few Belgrove things there. That if anybody comes to the distillery, there's a huge range of stuff there.
It's one of the most unique experiences I've ever been to. Such a unique space, like slightly terrifying, but beautiful, right? You want more, but you also fear for your life a little bit. So
I just get bored.
Yeah.
So I love creative.
You are a creative. You're an amazing artist. You make ice sculptures. You do sand sculptures.
Yes.
I believe. The gala. You're going to make an ice sculpture for the gala that we've had to postpone.
Yes. Later this year.
Yeah, later this year. Yeah, absolutely. Look, no, that's good. Any comments from the virtual?
We're good. Yeah.
Any comments from the background? I mean, it is definitely easily the most unique whiskey you've had tonight. It's strange to think that I'm going to drink. I've been drinking something that's been smoked with sheep shit. It's sort of like does my head in a little bit, but here we are.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Thank you, Peter, for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed tonight. I mean, you're up lucky last, so surely you're nice and mellowed out by now.
Mellowed out, yes.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm all about looking after the environment. So the distillery runs on waste fish and chip oil from the moot food just down the road.
Yep.
I capture a lot of carbon in the grain that I grow or the straw that I grow, put back into the soil. I've got a tree plantation for capturing carbon, and I recently bought a Tesla.
Yeah,
and I've actually got autopilot on it. So
you don't have to drive tonight, right? I just want to say, this actually feels like I contribute to your distillery because I buy food from Mood Food.
Yeah, my word, yes. Yeah, go to Mood Food.
It's such a unique thing you're doing out there, and you should be really proud of what you have done and what you are doing. It's always an absolute pleasure to have a Belgrove product put in front of me, unless it's Bone and Burnout. It's like a little bit jarring, but no.
Can I have a little bit of that?
Oh,
look at... Oh, my God, what's about to happen? Oh, my Lord!
So that's it from us tonight.
All right, thank you everybody for coming along. It's been a lot of fun.
Hey, I want to be there, Juice, too.
Huge
Come on,
shout
Kate,
out
come
to
on.
Kate. Kate has been our event organiser.
Where's Kate? Bring Katie. Where is she? Come on, Kate. Come on over here. Kate organised all these good people online.
Make way.
She's the best. There she is.
Kate.
Hey, we love it.
Thank you everybody for coming on tonight. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of whiskies. I think we a few of us now are going to go and see Psychroptic.
Psychroptic!
Okay,
two of us.
Look, I think, are we going to shut this shit down real quick?
Show the King Island video.
King Island video. Please stick around. It's a beautiful video, well worth a watch. Thank you all for coming along. Those that are following from home, next year, please get online, buy your packs, and join us live. It can only get better from here, right?
Can only get better. He won't. He's actually going to get.
Thank you, Mark. Mark's my partner in crime.
Mark,
Thank you so much.
Mark's the man. We love Mark.
All right.
Everybody in the room.
Cheers.
Mark,
Thank you, guys.
yeah.
I'm drinking it right up.
So I'm really proud to say that I'm made on King Island, and growing up here on the dairy farm, very much hands-on with mum and dad, it formed a really key part of who I am today. This whole thing came about because some locals said to me, do you know how many apples are going to waste on the island? You should really fix that. So I wrote a letter to the expert in the industry, Bill Lark, and he rang me and said, come down to Hobart, I'll tell you all about the distilling industry. It felt unbelievable. So when I registered my company King Island Distillery on the 1st of October 2014, I was the 10th one to establish in Tasmania and the very first distillery on King Island.
There's something in the water. Don't you want to take up?
The very first time that we turned on the copper stills, Shane was there with me the whole way, and we were tasting and smelling, and the alcohol comes out at 80%. And so after 12 hours, that is a huge test. And it certainly made us stronger distillers. We were probably relieved because I don't think we could have drank another drop. To have that spirit made and done and dusted was just amazing. And Shane and I were just like, yep, this is it, we've done it. Woo! Happy, happy, happy. 7 years on, it's really important that I'm supporting local. I buy local rainwater called King Island Cloud Juice. It tastes like the best water you've ever had. I think that we are the only distillery that actually uses rainwater for our distillation. It's amazing stuff, and I think he's the only one that bottles it in Australia. I handpick the native botanicals from the coastline of King Island, a place that I love to be with the fresh air and the wild wind and the surf. They really are the key ingredient that creates our native gin. I'm not a technical distiller. I basically run on instinct. It's an obsession. It's all about experimenting, and that's all part of the fun. The barrel-aged gin, for example, was something completely different. It was aged on a crayfishing boat, and it worked. When I'm creating and distilling a spirit, my heart goes out to the consumers. I want to be able to connect with them. I want them to be able to taste it and love it. It's not about being judged by professionals, it's everyday people that we want to please. I absolutely think it's a real surprise for people to be able to drink a fairly strong spirit neat and enjoy the experience. They're like, oh yeah, this is not bad. So yeah, it's humbling, it's exciting. It's like, yes, the goal has actually been achieved. It's like, oh yeah.